Okay, well, I think that worked. I can never tell. You alright, guys? Right, just going to click a few more things. I was trying to get another screen set up so I could read chat easier. For some reason, usual thing, the other screen, I don't know, it's just not working. It was working earlier, and it's literally just this second having problems. It keeps saying no internet, but it's like, well, there is internet because everything else has internet. So why that one's playing up, I don't know. But yeah. Anyhow, so yeah, I hope you saw the video that I did a little bit earlier. Let's just turn my voice off in my ear. Yeah, obviously doing some more moulds. I do like doing the moulds, especially as obviously the sprue goo and the acetone doesn't seem to affect these moulds in any kind of way, which makes it pretty awesome, because obviously then you can make whatever molds you want, and within reason things can be cast relatively well in sprue goo, as long as the detail is not too intricate and most of the things are relatively flat. Like panels are obviously awesome. Doing these eagle wings were pretty cool as well. So yes, I'm pretty pleased with how the eagle wings come out. I did try and set it up so that you'd be redirected when you came to the live stream. You'd be redirected there first, just so you could see that video. But unfortunately, I couldn't see if that worked on my screen because I'd already watched it. I mean, you can only see it once. It doesn't sort of show it again. So fingers crossed it works. If not, there's a short video, only 3 minutes long, because it couldn't be any longer, otherwise I couldn't attach it to this. Basically showing obviously this mould and the fact that they come out like little chocolate bars. The reason for that is the sprues that I've melted, they're a combination of grey, green and red, which is why these have come out brown as opposed to the usual sort of, well, just grey colour they are. But yeah, guys, just to sort of check you can hear me, because I think you can, because I'm sure I could hear me a second ago. If you can put a comment, well, leave a comment just saying, yeah, you can hear me nice and clear, that'd be awesome. So yes, in that short little video, obviously showed this, and then it is just a case of cutting these out. Relatively thin. If I need it any thinner, I can sand these, because these do sort of sand really easy, because obviously it's plastic, which is pretty cool. So yeah, really pleased with how these came out. So obviously a nice size, to say this is obviously going to be all 100% sprue build. Certain parts of it I may well make moulds of, just so obviously I can get nice little intricate pieces that'll obviously be sort of stuck on. So I'm doing it for this. So this came out really, really well. I mean, this will be in the video that I'm doing of building this. Obviously doing the live stream, so you guys can get to see every last sort of stage of this. But this will all be condensed down to the usual sort of 14-minute video, start to finish, just so you can see it nice and quickly. And it will contain this bit. But if you did watch the video earlier, you'll see that I was also, I haven't got the original, I was also trying to do the engine, or the engine intake, whatever that might be called, I'm not too sure, it could be engine intake. But obviously this is a nice flat piece to cast, so sprue goo works well. For more intricate bits, like this, where the sprue goo goes in and then goes underneath a bit, it's a bit trickier. So I didn't show it in that video. Originally I was going to, but I wanted to keep the video to 3 minutes, just so I could link it to this one. You can hear, awesome. Cheers for letting me know you can hear, guys. So yeah, so I tried to do the same sort of thing, cast sprue goo in this. And unfortunately, a sprue goo, because of the acetone, needs air for it to evaporate. So when you do, obviously, like shallow sort of little moulds are fine, but deeper ones, you get the sprue in there, and then the acetone doesn't get the air to it and doesn't dry. So you have to leave it in there for probably a week or more. Oh, pardon me. So I did have a go at doing this. So I've not got an original one to show you what it looked like. My first attempt came out like this. It's like when you're cooking a cake and it basically sort of deflates on you. That's kind of what happened here. There should have been a big pokey bit in the middle, and it just drooped down. So part of it came out. So obviously you try again. This time I didn't push it in the side bits, because say trying to pull it out the side bits was a nightmare. So this time I just pushed it down the centre. A little bit better, but as you can see, still not very good. So again, I like to try things and keep trying and keep trying. So I've made another mould. Well, this one I only made today, which is why it's still in its little case. I haven't pulled it out. So rather than trying to make this as one piece, I'm making it as two pieces. So the little nozzly bit is separate to the sort of rotary kind of blade thingies is separate as well. And then it's a case of obviously gluing the two together, which will make it a lot easier. So yes, I need to get these out. So these were only done earlier on today, which is why I've not pulled them out, but I'll be pulling them out and obviously filming that. And the other thing, I've got flat panels, nice thin flat panels. So this originally was thicker, probably about twice the thickness almost, and there's obviously like little air pockets in there. And obviously when you make these panels, sometimes you're lucky and they can come out super smooth, and other times they can come out a little bit like ridges, basically like air pockets sort of inside. So this side isn't too bad, but still a little bit rough. Whereas this one, I've been able to flatten it and obviously get rid of the air pockets in it and make it a whole lot smoother. So I'm going to go through that as well in obviously this little live stream, because my plan for this live stream is to start encasing this in some panels, which would be pretty cool. So anyone who hasn't seen my last couple of live streams, obviously I'm making the Thunderhawk. I'm making the original 97 version that was made out of metal, just because I prefer the look of this one. It's a little bit smaller, and then when I come to edit this whole video, I can class it as me making Warhammer's most expensive model, purely because obviously Squidmar sold his for, I believe it's like £25,600. Yeah, which is quite a lot. I mean, if I got £25.60 for this, I think I'd be impressed. So that's kind of what I'm going to go through today. I'm going to obviously take the case off, have a go at putting some sprue goo in these moulds. Obviously I won't be able to do anything else with it. It'll be a case of putting it in the moulds, and then tomorrow I'll demould and hopefully they'll come out. But you'll be able to see that process. And then I'm going to show obviously how I'm making my panels flatter and smoother. I mean, there's still a little bit of roughness. I mean, this side's not too bad at all. This side's kind of like glass. So this was actually part of this. Well, there's a bit in the middle. So yeah, so it's come out almost sort of half as deep. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the messages, because say I've tried to set it up so I can read the messages easier, but at the moment it's still on a small little screen. So let's have a quick look, see who is here. Obviously a couple of guys I was chatting to before we came on. So that was Steve is out there, Andrew is out there, is that Art of Code. So this is where, say, I need new glasses because I can barely read out these ones. That's why I'm trying to get the other monitor to work so I can have the text nice and big. Is that Wheaty or Wheatley, just Wheatley? Alan Forbes is here, awesome. Woz is here, Bigel Guy is here. Yeah, Woz is here. I was thinking about doing a 2-part mould, a 4-part mould. Yeah, problem is, say with the sprues, because they need air, or the ooey gooey sprue stuff needs air for the acetone to evaporate. Let's say even doing a 1-part complicated mould is a bit tricky. To do a 2-part mould, to have another part on top of that, the air is going to get in there so slowly that you'd have to leave that for like weeks, and even then obviously you wouldn't know what was going to come out. Because obviously the other problem is when the acetone does evaporate, it can leave little holes. I say these weren't too bad. There's small, real small little holes in this, which isn't too bad at all. Also there's a couple, one up the top there in the wing, and a little bit there in the wing. But yes, if you did a 2-part mould and you had to leave it in there for quite a few days to see what comes out, you'd be a little bit gutted. So that's why I don't think I'd ever do a 2-part mould for sprue goo. Or if you did 2-part moulds, it'd be a case of you'd split them and put a bit in each one, let them harden, and then glue them together. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, cool! We've got a pizza loving girl or gal is in the house. Good to see you there. Hope you're well. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I really want to try and get this at least the front half encased is kind of my my plan. So yeah, and also yeah, I think what we'll do first actually we'll demold these just because I want to put some sprue goo in these, just so then come first thing in the morning these will be ready to take out, and fingers crossed will look good. So for this bit, say some of this I will be filming just for obviously the video that I'm going to make. And if anyone hasn't seen one of my live streams recently, I've got my webcams and I'm actually using them to live stream, to film, sorry. So this one down here that you're seeing on the main screen is one that I've actually got connected to my computer, and I'm sort of filming bits through it, which is pretty cool. So before we start, I'm going to get a little tool, because sometimes these come apart easy and other times they need a bit of coercion. I say because these molds are fairly simple, this should come apart relatively easy. It is a case of just breaking the sides, so these don't really get reused. If anyone's seen many of my sort of previous or much earlier videos where I've done molds, I used to use Lego because I've got tons of it. Oh, I've still got tons of it. So obviously making the mold with Lego is great because you can just pull the Lego apart, clean it up, and then reuse it, which is pretty cool. So we've got Harry, is that Mullica? Again, I can see some of the letters, but some of them just seem to merge in. Chris is here. That's a nice easy name for me to say. Love the videos, can't wait to see the finished product. Yeah, this one shouldn't take too long. My only concern, or not really a concern because I don't really have many concerns, is I don't have enough sprues. And I've literally got a few sprues left, but luckily there's, how many people I had? I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 people are sending me sprues, but I think all 5 or 6 are in America. So it could be a week or two before I get their sprues. So we'll see. I've got quite a few panels. If I've got enough panels to cover this, awesome. If not, then this might go on the back burner and will be the end of the month. Is that Skmeed? Olaf. There we go. Olaf. A lot easier to say. Zach is here. Just popped by. Says it's cool. I wish all a pleasant evening. And a pleasant evening to you too. Right, so I'm going to film this. Basically, obviously, me filming the opening of this. So, because in the video that I do eventually, you'll see me mention the other mould and the fact that it was too. Say it's not even a simple, a complicated mould. If I poured resin in there, it would come out perfect. But obviously, the ooey gooey spruey stuff is a little bit different. And so this was done a day or two ago, and it's still a little soft. But yeah, so I'll show the failure, and hopefully this will be the success. Right, let's have a little look, because I've actually got my earbuds hopefully working. So this time I can have a little bit of music in my ears, just because it does help me work. Right, so let's set the thing recording, and then we can have a go. So I've already filmed me obviously pouring this stuff in and making the moulds, and now it's a case of seeing how well we can pull the moulds out. So these are a much simplified version of the I don't know if they're like intakes on the old thruster jets. I'm not really too sure what they're called. So this bit's kind of got these cone shape bits, and obviously nice and simple. So that should the old ooey gooey sprue stuff should go in there nice and simple. Right, this is where I can use my tool just to get in there a little bit. And so this bit's going to have a bit more complicated. It's going to be, I say, those kind of like the blades inside the thruster jet. Yeah, so say one's come out pretty good. The other one's got a few bits on it, so that might need a bit of cleaning up. But that's not too bad. So that's the thing, when you obviously do make things with the sprues, you have to sort of accept that as much as you want it to be perfect and look obviously right, it does have its limitations, sprues and sprue goo. So yeah, sometimes you have to just accept what comes out, comes out. But yes, obviously if I wanted to make something out of resin, it'd be a whole lot easier and quicker. But sometimes, where's the fun in that? Sometimes it's more fun to obviously, well, do things the hard way. So have a quick look, because I've just seen a couple more people have come on. Joe Thomas, I thought it was an hour late, but I completely forgot. I'm on holiday in France. Oh, okay, so obviously a bit of time difference. Olaf, once the guy is finished, hopefully makes a god emperor of mankind. If it's small, then yes. I'm not going to make big things like the Tau Manta was just too big. There was no room on my desk, and it kind of got a bit too much. There was yeah, too much to it. Whereas this is a nice size. So I'm pleased with this. Podge Panda is here. Hello, Podge Panda. And if anyone doesn't know, Podge Panda is a miniature hobbyist, as in she's my daughter. So if anyone wants to say hi to Podge Panda, that'd be cool. I mean, she may well have gone by now. She might have just quickly popped on, said hello, and then good. So you're here finally, like I asked. Only if you wanted to come on, you weren't forced to come. Should use a small syringe for pouring. Yeah, see, the only problem with that is, if you ever use the gooey sprue stuff, as soon as it gets into the air, it starts to harden. So if you poured some of this into a syringe, as soon as you put it into the syringe, it's starting, the acetylene starting to evaporate. So you'll have problems pushing it out of a syringe, because I have got a metal syringe that I've used to make thin like wires out of sprue stuff. But even then, you can only push so much and then it stops, because obviously it starts going back to plastic. So yeah, a syringe won't work. Podge is still here. Cool. What's that? Half code, stop embarrassing me, Dad. Yeah. Well, the thing is though, obviously I've got two girls, Paige and Olivia. Olivia comes on. She loves it. She loves it when everyone says hi to her. Paige, hello everyone, and yes, I wanted to come. You don't force me. Yes. But yeah, so if Olivia Gunner comes on, yeah, say hi to her, because she absolutely loves it. Josh might come on. He's a bit quieter, so you can say hi, but he won't say hi back. And Paige, well, Paige is a teenager, so teenagers do what they want, don't they? But I'm glad you're here, Paige. Thank you for joining us, for however long or little it is. Right, so I'm going to actually say fill these now. I better turn the recording off, because otherwise it's just going to keep on recording and recording. So there we go. So say this has come out nice and easy, because this is literally just these cone bits, but obviously a better looking cone bit than that. That's gone a bit astray. So we'll make these, and we'll see if we can get some stuff in here as well. Just to say, because these will take, say, 8 hours or more to harden. So it's worth doing it now. Just then, in the morning, I can have a look and see how they've come out. Right, so we'll get these ready. So this is, say, even with the sprue goo, I'm running out of sprue goo. Because basically what it is, because I don't know if you were here in the last couple of streams, you'd have heard me talking about it. But I did have around about 12, 13 big boxes full of sprues. But then doing the Tau Manta took up loads. And just before I started the Tau Manta, I told everyone to stop sending them in. Because I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be doing any more, well, I wasn't going to do any more Warhammer or sprue builds. And obviously here I am, doing a Warhammer sprue build. But I think it's because when I did that Tau Manta, it took such a long time, and there was so much involved in it, and obviously using so many sprues, so much sprue goo, I kind of I overdosed on it and just got really bored of it towards the end, which is why I've had a break. Well, it's been about an 8-month break, I think, from doing anything with Sprues and Sprue Goo. So that's why I'm back, but I'm only going to do one build a month, as in like one build like this. So it might be like a couple of smaller videos showing smaller bits, but basically one build a month, and whatever I build, it's going to be this kind of size. So yeah, and there will be some orc stuff coming up as well, because obviously I love orcs still, so I want to do something with those. Just looking for my expensive tool that I'm going to use to obviously get the Sprue Goo out and in these. And as I am going to obviously be touching the Sprue Goo, if I was just getting it out of here to put it on acetone to roll it out into thin sheets, then I wouldn't bother wearing gloves. But obviously my plan here is to get the stuff out and use my fingers to sort of prod it down. So that's why I'm using gloves. But I think what I'm going to do now, as in when I'm doing more stuff with Sprue Goo, I am going to do some sort of kind of weird disclaimer at the very beginning, just to say everyone needs to take their own precautions and safety, and wear protective stuff that they feel they need to wear, as opposed to me not wearing gloves but then getting hundreds of people saying, oh, you're not wearing gloves, you're touching this, you're going to die. I'm not going to die from touching this, he says, touch wood. So yes, I might do some sort of disclaimer where everyone does their own health and safety. Right, let's have a quick look. Have I missed anything anyone said? Oh, you're just saying hi to Paige. Cool. Yeah. So Alan's here. Again, apologies, I'm not really reading anything. As Alan, hello, Indio. Yeah, so I need new glasses, or I need to get a better screen. So I don't know why. I've got a nice big 17-inch laptop over here, and for some reason it does not want to connect to the internet, and yet it was earlier, and it's annoying me because I had it all set up with the chat on there, and the chat was like super big, so I could read it real clear. But usual thing, moments before you go live, it's just whirring round, so I don't know. Right, so again, let's get ready to film this. Yeah, so again, the Sprue Goo, normally the acetone doesn't go this dark. It's purely because in here I've got grey sprues, green sprues, and I was red. Yeah, red, green and grey. Whereas normally the acetone, it kind of like goes a bit discoloured, but you can still almost see through it. But that's why it's gone that colour, and that's why I say these sprues are brown. There's a bit of grey in there, but it's more brown than anything. Something's just popped up, but I can't see where it is. Oh, Harry Mullica. Oh, cheers for the donation, buddy. Thank you so much. Yeah, again, I'm trying to get things set up really easy. So I saw something had popped up, but I couldn't see what it was. Glad to see you live streaming again. Tau Manta forever. Yeah, it seemed like such a good idea, that Tau Manta. I should have scaled it down. But obviously, unfortunately, I wanted to build the Tau Manta to size. And I had to build it in 3 sections, because even each section just fit on my desk. So the whole thing, I had to take everything off for it to be there. And yeah, I just did too much with that Tau Manta. But I mean, it was built like a brick. What's it? But yeah, so this is definitely more my size. It fits on my desk so much nicer. Anyway, yeah, cheers for the donation, buddy. That's much appreciated. Pac-Man, you're making an Orc Stomper. Awesome. And funny enough, the guy above you, Steve, he's bought my Orc Stomper, well, many moons ago. So it's still been sitting here. But yeah, the Orc Stomper. So again, that was quite a big build. I really enjoyed building that. that was fun. That was good fun to build. Right, I just need to remember to hit the record button, because as I say, what I'm going to do is get some of this goo out. So I've normally got a bigger stick. Ooh, madam. But I don't know where it's gone. Because as you can see, I like to use expensive tools, and it really is just a case of getting it and shoving it in, madam. Right, let's get a bit more. But say for this, I would definitely use gloves, because obviously I know I'm going to be touching it. And this is what's saying about this stuff. When it first comes out, it is super gooey, super sticky, and will stick to anything other than the greaseproof paper, which is why I love using the greaseproof paper, just because obviously, well, obviously it will stick to my desk, but not only will it stick to my desk, it will pull, because of the acetone, it obviously eats into my desk, and it will make little holes or divots, and it will take off all the pattern that's on there. And then it is just a case of pushing it in, really. So say these bits shouldn't come out too bad, as long as there's no real sort of pocket holes in there. Right, so we can put that to the side. As I say, this could be a bit trickier, because obviously it's a lot smaller in the gaps I want to try and get in. Yeah, no, not your fault at all, Steve. I say I was happily looking after it, because well, I've recently moved flats. Not that I've gone far, but it was just sitting on one of my shelves, so I could see it every day. Because it is one of my favourite builds. Obviously not the favourite, because we all know that's the burger. But say the Orc Stomper and the Orc TIE Fighter. They were my sort of top builds out of Sprues. I did like the Orc Wizard Castle. That was one I enjoyed as well. Right. Probably be enough. And again, just sort of trying to push it down so it goes into all the nooks and crannies. Right, we'll stop the videoing, obviously, because I've gone forever. We'll keep pushing down a little bit. There we go. I'll just put it on the other screen as well, just in case, because I'm having problems reading some of the words. So if I do, I can look over there and I can quickly see some of the names that I'm mispronouncing so badly. Right. So again, this is the only thing, when it does come, you do make things out of sprues, you really need to work or plan ahead, especially with obviously sprue goo. The fact that this is going to take 7-8 hours to get these bits to come out, and I say they sometimes come out well and sometimes not so well. Right, so that's good enough, so we can put those to one side and then basically forget about them. Because the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to sort of keep testing to see if it's dried or not. Basically in your head you want to be thinking 8 hours minimum, and then have a look. Because if you start looking too soon, when you try and peel it open, it'll still be, even on the outside might feel like it's got a good skin to it and feel almost thick, the inside will still be ooey gooey, which obviously is no good. Right, I'll probably take these gloves off in a minute as well. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to do the panels. So yeah, I've obviously with the sprue panels, I'm always trying to find ways of making them, well, flatter. I think because generally when you do these, one side will come out better than the other, but even the better side isn't always smooth. And depending on the weather as well, I always find. But I can't remember if it's cold, if it dries better, or if it's hot it dries better, because obviously one way it's probably going to dry quicker than the other. But either way, you normally get one side not too bad, and one side can be as rough as a badger's arse. Which, say, if you're building something like an orc stomper, perfect. Anything to do with orcs, this stuff comes out great. Or Nurgles, it comes out great. But obviously when you want to make these super smooth, then not so great. So yeah, so something I've had for a while, but never really tried. Let's move up a bit just so you can get more of that in. Is the good old pasta maker what's it thingy. So I've had this for years, well, a good year and a half, if not two, and I've used it obviously with clay. It's got little bits on the side so you can adjust it, make it thicker or thinner. Obviously I've got a handle for it, which is over here. A good old well, you've got a handle, but you have to raise it up because it hits the ground. So you think they'd have a shorter handle, but hey hey. So yeah, I mean I'd never used this before, as in for these, because I didn't think it would work. So earlier on I had a go just to see if it did work, and it did. As in, say, this was part of this. It's come out, it's probably at half the thickness. This is probably a good 2 mil. Yeah, maybe getting on towards 3, but definitely 2 mil. And this is definitely more 1 mil, maybe 1.5. So it's come out half the thickness. Basically, I put it through several times, and I'm going to show that process because I want to get some on film. And obviously, the one good thing there is it's pushed out any little air holes in this. Obviously, flattened it down to within an inch of its life, and made it smoother. And not only that as well, because sometimes with this stuff, like it comes out relatively flat, but then when you leave this for say 2-3 days, because it's still shrinking because there's obviously air holes in there, it can sometimes start to warp. Whereas I'm sure this, because there's no air holes in there because it's all been flattened, there's less chance of this warping. But obviously this thing would be great for what I'm building, but to do this it wouldn't work for the orcs, for the town manta, because you'd have to make like loads and loads of small sections and then glue them all together. But say for the panels that are going on this is going to be perfect. And I say these are nice and flat, as opposed to these where there's air holes in there, definitely bumps and lumps all over the place. This, say, it looks weird because it's got loads of these white bits on it, but it is actually really smooth. I don't know how well you can sort of see that on the camera, but yeah, it's a lot smoother than this. So yes, I'm pretty excited about that, because then it should mean that this will look relatively smooth once painted, which would be pretty cool. Right, let's have a little look. Have I missed anything? Am I going to build the Orc Avengers? Oh wow, God, that was something I mentioned years ago, wasn't it? I'm not too sure. I'd say, because I did kind of stop doing anything related to Warhammer beginning of this year, and that was primarily because obviously I was doing D&D stuff, which obviously I am doing a lot more D&D stuff. But I just fancied making something from sprues. So what I'm going to do is, with my Warhammer sprues, I'm going to make Warhammer stuff. Because WizKids send me their frameworks, which is obviously their miniatures on sprues, I'm going to turn their sprues into D&D related stuff. Just because I do like doing stuff with sprues, just because it is fun, it's different, and not many people do it. Although saying that, there's a lot more people making stuff out of sprues now than obviously when I started to, which is pretty cool though, because obviously it means people are recycling, which is cool. But I hope you have enough ventilation. I have a window right behind me, and I'm considering putting a fleece on. It's one of these big, I don't know what they're called, but it's about 5 foot high, 3 foot wide, and it's sort of like cantilevers. So you can open it, and it's like a huge big gap. So yes, I always have. Yeah, I do like a well ventilated area anyway, really. Andrew's been rubbing the surface smooth with your finger. after the first skin fall. Yes, yeah. But I do find though with these, even when you leave them and they look really smooth when you first do them, it's almost like, I don't know, air gets, well, it's the acetone evaporating, but sometimes the acetone inside it can leave big pocket holes, and they almost seem to just fill up with air and like balloon up like blisters. But yeah, so this is definitely a much smoother thing than this, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so I'm going to film a bit of that. But say you have to raise this up, otherwise the handle, presumably it's obviously made to go on the edge of a desk or a bench or something, and not used obviously flat on a desk, because you need a bit of clearance to get the old handle going. So what I've done when I've done these, I've had it on the lowest setting, which is obviously the widest bit in there, and then I did it quite a few. So this one I probably put through about 6-7 times. Oh, pardon me, but it was worth it to get it smoother, flatter, and all the rest of it. And I say, because this is a smaller thing I'm working on, it is worth putting that extra time in just to get it to come out a lot better. Yeah, it's definitely a nicer consistency, because I must admit, obviously, if you saw how I do these, I've got a roller that's got measuring bits either end, so these should come out the same thickness. But you can see in this one, this one's not. It's thicker here, and there's a real thin bit there. Not too sure why it goes thin, because like the roller, it should roll it all out to the same thickness, but clearly it didn't there. But this definitely gets it the same thickness, which is cool. So yeah, so this is basically, where shall I move that so I don't smash it? Yeah, so this is one that I, again, look, I mean, so this was perfectly flat this morning. So as the air gets to it, there's still obviously a little bit of acetone in there somehow, or the acetone's gone, but this is still just drying, and obviously it's curved. So again, putting it through this seemed to get rid of a lot of the curvature of it. But so yeah, so on one side you really have got the old potholes. The other side not so bad. It's always a case of you always have one good side and one side that is definitely worse for wear. That's going to be the world's first pasta sprue goo. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I should get some sort of label on here. Sprue goo mangler. Or something like that. So yeah, so what I did with this is I basically cut it up into a smaller bit, just so obviously because it won't fit otherwise. Let's move this up so you can see a bit more. And we'll tilt so you're not on a wonk. Yeah, so obviously at the moment it's not really going to fit through too well. So I am going to cut it a little bit and then put it through. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Oh, don't really want to get the camera involved. Yeah, it does kind of need both of these, unfortunately. Right, if we go there, I've got some room to do that. And we'll get this, and let's change the light a little bit. So I'm going to film this. I'm just going to turn my other laptop off because it's still just whirring round, but it's kind of annoying me now that it's there but not working. But it should be. Hello. Make pasta with sprue goo. One good side, one worse for wear, just like people. Possibly. Well, that's the good thing though. If you wanted a panel that looks like it's been beaten up and shot up, you've got it. And if you want a panel that looks, well, still like the hide of an elephant, you've got that as well. But say they generally come out. I mean, again, it's hit and miss. You get some panels that come out better, and it's some that look like they've been hit with a rotten stick. But hey ho. Right, so I want to film some of this. So we'll get that going. Yeah, and then I can sort of show that this one has gone a little bit warped. Got a better side, a worse side. And I think we'll just cut it in half. Because the good thing with the panels that go on the Thunderhawk is they look like it's been made from lots of panels, so that should be quite cool. And then it is a case of have it on the largest one, and then it is. I'd say it's quite a workout once you get to the thinner ones. Oh, where'd it go? Because it is quite tough. Move them out of the way. Right, I'll go for a couple of times on that one because that was better. And I say it's just getting thinner and thinner. It's definitely easier if this was obviously attached to the side of your desk as opposed to bouncing on a couple of bits of foam board. Right, I'll go for the, I think that's the smallest one now. So again, that bit I showed you was one of the first bits I did. So obviously some bits, I mean, this kind of started a little bit hit and miss, but yeah, there's a bit of a dodgy bit there. So what we'll do is we'll actually just lop it off. So the panels I need for this are going to be like 2-3 inches each. But there you go. So it's a lot. I say it's got a funny looking pattern to it, but from what it started off as, it's a whole lot better, smoother. So when painted, it should look half decent. But yeah, so it's definitely sort of half the thickness now, which is just pretty cool. Yeah, right, we'll finish recording that. So yes, I can't take credit for this, but I also can't give credit to whoever it was, because someone mentioned, I'm sure, well, I think they did, I'm sure someone mentioned using this in one of my videos or in a live stream like a year or so ago. I don't know who, but for some reason in my head I'm sure someone said, can you use a pasta roller to make it thinner? And I think at the time I probably said, so this might be me just making this all up because I've got a memory like a sieve. But if it did happen, I probably thought in my head it might work or it might not. But for the things that I was making, all my panels were a bit bigger, so they wouldn't have fitted inside this. So I think that's why I never tried this idea. But I'm sure someone did mention using a pasta to see if you can make it thinner. Although, say, to be fair, I still roll them out as I would do normally, and then I would put them through this. To try and put sprue goo through this, now that would make a mess. Even if you put a bit of sprue goo in between 2 pieces of greaseproof paper, put them in there, and then did that, yeah, I don't think it would work. I think this works by making the panels how you normally would. So these were done yesterday, so these have been left almost a day, 24 hours. So leave them fully and then do this, and I say it's, yeah, I mean, I'd say this side is, I mean, there's a little bit of, I don't know, it's not indentations, it's not like an ice rink smooth, but it's, oh, I don't know, actually, yeah. It's hard to say. I think you'd need to put some paint on this to then see just how good it is. I mean, say it certainly feels a whole lot better than than this one. Anyway, I'm waffling now. So what I'm probably going to do is, I don't know, actually, I wasn't too sure whether or not I should like get the thing, offer it up, cut the bit off, then put it through. Well, that wouldn't work because it might double in size. Well, it's not doubling in size, it's just getting thinner. I don't know, I'm waffling. I think I'm going to do small pieces like this, put them through the old mangler, and then I'm going to put them up to this, do the good old the good old technical way of doing it. You draw around it and then you cut it out and you stick it on. Yeah, I think I'm going to roll out some bits, because I can roll out some bits and then I can stick some bits on, and that'll help my muscles go back down, because it's quite hard work going through that, but we'll see. Oh, Bill Making Stuff is in the house. All right, Bill, mate, how you doing? Well, I hope. And Ninja Ginger is here. Awesome, good to see you too. Lever versus Pleather. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what you'd call this one. Dog's Dinner versus, well, not a Dog's Dinner. But yeah, well, it is funny the way, obviously, it changes, because obviously it flattens it so much, and you get all this weird looking thing on it. But say it's smooth, it's not, yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. So I'm pleased to say I'd like to. I wish I could remember if I did have this chat with someone about putting it through a mangler, because I could be making it completely up. I just don't know. Yeah, memory sieve man, that's me. But Dark Soul 909, hello buddy, how are you? I hope you're all well out there doing whatever. Obviously it's the weekend, woohoo! Although for me, I think every day is almost like a weekend. Yeah, every day's a day. Oh no, I want that, don't I? Right, let's stick that up there. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out a few more bits, just so I've got a few, then I can stick them on. Because even now my arms are aching a little bit, because say this roller, it's so you probably can get motorised ones these, couldn't you? I mean that'd be a doddle if you just got there and just and it comes out and yeah. That would be cool. Right, so here's another one I actually did a bit earlier. It's like Blue Peter now, isn't it? Here's one I did earlier. So yeah, I did do a fair old size bit, so I can cut that into the bits I want. So now let's make a nice pile over there. Right, I'm gonna have a bit of a drink. You're alive. Well, that's a good start, Dark Soul. Yeah, you're winning so far. Radio. Yes, as obviously I'm doing this, if you've got any questions, let's put it back down to the low settings, otherwise I'll never get through that bit. Yeah, any questions, guys? If you put @miniature hobbyist in your text, just so it pops up yellow on my screen, and then there's more chance of me me seeing it. I am still going to try and work on getting another screen, just so I can read what you guys are writing, because my eyes are so bad. Oh, what's gone on here? It's not letting go. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it always seems to want to go backwards and not forwards. Oh, that one's coming kind of forwards. Ish. Yeah, didn't need that bit. It's a spare. Right, let's go down a couple. Motorised pasta makers are not cheap. No, I'm sure they're not. Plus, I reckon, oh, gee whiz, man, I reckon putting a sprue panel through it might not be the best of ideas, especially if you spend a lot of money on it. This could cream cracker it, because as it is, I think it's going to cream cracker me. I've been making stuff. What happened to the Manta? It went out the window. No, it didn't. No, I sold it. I actually sold it on eBay. Yeah, I was surprised too. Yeah, sold it. It went to America. Unfortunately, again, this is my memory like a sieve. I have got the guy's details on file somewhere. The guy who bought it was going to finish it off, because I kind of finished it in respect of the build I finished, but I never smoothed it down like I said I was going to. Because I was going to fully smooth it down, because Steve F in the comments there sent me loads of sandpaper, which I was going to use to sand it all down. But by the time I'd built the thing, I kind of lost enthusiasm in it, because it really did take, I can't even think how many hours. as in like we're talking 50 hours, 60 hours. It was a build and a half, and by the time I got near the end of it, I was almost pig sick of it, just purely because of the amount of hours I'd spent on it, and then to spend like another, oh, I don't know, another 10 hours or more sand, because my plan was to sand it down to an inch of its life, make it super smooth, and then paint it again. So I painted it, but the problem that I had then was that I had to go out sand in a few areas, and because obviously how this stuff is, as in there are like little pocket holes in there, it's kind of like honeycombed. So when you sand it down, well, it's a good example. When you sand it down, you then open up all these little holes, which I did, and then I got some more sprue goo, went over the top, filled that in. Obviously the usual, wait 2-3 days for that to like fully harden, sand that again. So some areas where I did do that, they're like glass, super smooth. But to do that to the whole thing, it honestly would have taken me weeks. And yeah, so because I'd kind of like lost heart in it a little bit, I did. So I kind of finished it as much as I was going to. So it was finished, and from 10 feet away, looked perfect. But yeah, so the chap that brought it, I believe he was going to finish it, but he was in the middle of a move or something. So I've got his details on file, 'cause I was emailing him. I should really get some sort of update and find out what's going on. God, so this is really quite a workout. But say the fact that it makes it even more consistent in the thickness, and again, it's difficult to really show you how smooth that is, but that is, it's almost buttery smooth. Well, I think I've missed some questions there. Yeah, what happened to the manta? Yeah, have I tried using a rubber roller to help flatten the goo before it hardens? No, but have you seen how I make the panels? As in, I get sprue goo, I put it on greaseproof paper, put another bit of greaseproof paper on the top. I've got my trusty roller, which normally has these height adjusters. So obviously you have a height adjuster at both ends. So when you roll it out, you know how thick it's going to be. So I think this one's like 2 millimeters. So you can have 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, whatever thickness. So I keep rolling it out, keep rolling it out, keep rolling it out. So the whole thing is, or should be, a consistent thickness, and then you leave it. Yeah, so when you leave it, say it's perfectly flat, it's perfectly smooth, it looks the nuts. After about 3-4 hours, I normally peel one bit off, again just because if the air doesn't get to it, it'll take longer for the acetone to evaporate. So I peel one bit off, and when you peel a bit off and you look at the sprue goo, again it is just silky smooth. Oh, pardon me. It's as more and more acetone evaporates, that's when you start getting the pocket holes, and that's when you start getting the curvature, because obviously it's like shrinking. So that's why it sort of pulls edges up. So long story short, I don't think using the rubber roller at any stage after the initial roll would make it any better, because say it looks great until air gets to it and the acetone evaporates, and then that's when you get all these issues. But I say obviously you get all these issues, but pasta roller seems to be getting rid of quite a few issues. But again, it would only really work on something of a small size. Well, it could work on any size if you're willing to put in the hours, the days, the weeks to get it there. So that's the thing with sprue builds, you need to have in your head, it's going to come out good, it's not going to come out perfect, unless you're making something for orcs, and then obviously it's going to come out perfect because, well, that's how orcs make stuff. But yeah. Oh my God, it's Bill. Bill is there. Is he still there? Dark Soul, I had seen the process, just wondering, oh, okay. I mean, that's the thing. If obviously I can only go by what I've done or what I've tried. Yeah, obviously it's great if other people try stuff, and then yeah, let me know what happened. Because there's only so many things I can try. Plus, like everyone keeps saying about doing some sort of injection moulding with sprue goo. I don't have an injection moulder or something that's strong enough and hard enough to be able to push sprue goo into. And also people say about using the big vacuum chamber things, like putting sprue goo into some sort of, like, I don't know, a flat panel, using the vacuum chamber to suck the air out. Would that help get rid of the acetone and the pocket holes it leaves? Again, it might do. I just don't have £300 to buy a vacuum chamber to try that out. Whereas this pasta roller I bought a couple of years ago to obviously roll out plasticine when I make my occasional plasticine thingy. So yeah, so that's why I don't mind using that for this, because it's something I had. But yeah, motorised one of these would be a dream right now. I think. Oh yeah, no, we're on the last one. That's good. I'll do it a couple of times, and then we're going to call this one done. But say, I am hoping though, doing this as well will reduce, say, because that's sort of curved over the period of like 24 hours. But sometimes give it another, say, 2-3 days, this could curve even more. Because even though it's dried, it's hard, obviously it's still flexible. So when this fully dries, it'll dry to a point where it won't flex. It'd be more a case of you'd end up breaking it. So this has still got another day or so of sort of drying, and that's why sometimes it can crease more. So I'm wondering if these ones, because these ones are flattened out more and there's no air pockets in there anymore, will these ones stay flatter for, well, forever? But again, some of these things you just don't know. So this bit here is definitely curved because it's not flattened. So I think this bit was, well, you can see, yeah, this bit was thinner than it should be. So I'll probably just chop, yeah, let's chop that bit off. Don't like that bit. There we go. And we'll give that another little twist. Oh, and there we go. Shoots out the back. So yeah, so this one is nice and flatter, and yeah, I'd say it looks pretty cool. And again, it feels so much nicer. And the thing is, it feels nicer on both sides. And like I was saying earlier, normally with the sprue panels, one side's normally half decent, and the other side could be like a rotten, well, the rottenest rotten thing you know. Right, so there's another panel. So again, there we go. See how well this bit comes out, because this bit has definitely got a few holes in it. So yes, it'd be interesting to see just how well this bit comes out. Again, the edges are quite thin, so we may well cut them bits off. Like that bit's nice and thick, but that bit's super thin. Oh, let's. Oh yeah, even cutting it, you can see now that bit is super thin. This bit's all the same thickness. Yeah, so we'll put this bit through. So obviously try and remember just how potholed this looks to how it's going to look in 5 minutes, hopefully less than 5 minutes, when my arms are fully pooped. Let's just check we're getting a good view of the pasta maker. To say I might make a 3D printer sign. Miniature Hobbyists Sprue Goo Mangler. I think we might call this. But say, yeah, this is definitely well, it's a good workout, but I think it's only doing one arm. Oh, just want to take it. There we go, take it. Oh man. What's that, Steve? That right hand is coming in handy being single. You're not wrong, mate. No offense. So yeah, I need to swap over, don't I, really? Well, I say this arm, the old left arm, because obviously I'm really having to hold this very securely, otherwise it's gonna. Yeah, I think you'd really want to. Has it got? Yeah, you must be able to screw it to the desk somehow. But yeah, you'd really want to screw this to the edge of a desk if you were doing lots of this. Just to say, yeah, my left arm, from holding this sort of down and secure, is getting quite a good workout. Not it's the only workout it gets. But there we go. What's that, Andrew? The flattener. Yeah. Oh yeah, I suppose I should really with kicking with orcs and that. Well, the thing is, orcs wouldn't use it, would they? They would rather something look holy and bitty and monstrosity rather than nice and smooth. Oh, got to screw up the spelling to make it better. Well, I must admit, my next build, I say, because with this build, how did I come across? Oh, I think I just typed in Games Workshop or Warhammer's most expensive model, and this came up because obviously Squidmar's selling his one. But then it was very difficult for me to get all the dimensions for it because this is the old one and you just can't find it anywhere. Whereas obviously the new Forge World ones, you can find a lot more of their dimensions, and you can even get there's a 3D printed version. So you could not 3D printed, sorry, paper printed. So you could print out the thing on paper or cardboard and then glue it together. So obviously it's got all the dimensions. But that was for the Forge World one, which I didn't want. But obviously there are sites you can go to, and they give you, again, some of these 3D, got to stop saying 3D printed, paper printed, of all like loads more vehicles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look on this paper printed website for orc vehicles. So the next thing I make, so I'm going to make one sprue build a month is what I'm going to do, just because then it will keep me interested in it, because I do like doing them. I just don't like it when I do. I overcommit. I get very focused on one thing and I do lots of it, but then I get bored of it. So that's why I need to sort of, variety is a spice of life and all that kind of loving stuff. But yeah, so that's why I need to do one sprue build a month and then do other bits and pieces for the month. So obviously I love my 3D printer. Well, it was nice to be able to incorporate that in this, as in 3D printing some parts that I'm then going to turn into sprue glue. 40k guy, we are going to be hosting a painting competition on Discord. Yeah, I know. This is where I hang my head in deep shame. I went on Discord. When did I go on there? It was about a week or two ago, and I know I hadn't been on there for about 4 months prior to that. I am so bad. No excuse whatsoever. Well, I've got one little excuse I don't go on Discord. I almost find it overwhelming that there's so many people on there doing so many things, and there's so many. They're not. I don't even know what they're called. They're not folders, but there's so many discussion groups. Is that the right word? Whatever it is, I kind of got overwhelmed when I went on there. And yeah, I don't deal with like too much overload. I don't know how I'm explaining it right, but yeah, I do apologise. I don't go on there. I should go on there because obviously I started it and it's to do with my channel. So yeah, big apologies. But you guys go on there, you guys chat, you do stuff. Yeah. Right, am I missing stuff? Right, I've got the flattener, blah blah blah. Pizza loving girl wants to see my muscle. Is that my right arm you want to see? Yeah, I'm not going to do a comparison between my right arm and my left arm, because my right arm may well be like who's the spinach guy? Popeye. Peace, loving girls. Oh, okay, yeah, pineapple chunks. We'll be having a scratch building competition. Right, yeah, okay. Scratch building competition. I'm game for, because I've just started again. like I said, I get very focused on one thing, and obviously I've been very focused on D&D. It is primarily because obviously I am playing D&D, so I'll just move that down so you can see my face. Well, don't know, you might not want to. But yeah, I have recently been saving a lot of stuff to do scratch building with, because I got rid of loads and loads of plastic bottles and lids and all kinds of stuff that obviously you use to scratch build with. But I've recently been collecting loads of stuff again because I want to do some scratch builds, because I enjoyed them. Every time I did one, I always used to say, I love doing this, I need to do more, but then I wouldn't do one for, I don't know, another month or more. So in a month, I need to try and do one sprue build, one scratch build, one kit bash, and maybe a couple of D&D bits. Just so every month it's a bit of everything. I know I won't, but that's what I should do, because I know I get fixated. It's like I might do a scratch build and think, oh, I love this, and then the next week do another scratch build. But yeah, if you're doing a scratch building competition, I'm going to go and take a look at my own Discord channel to see what it's about. And yeah, whoever's setting the scratch building competition, presumably there'll be some sort of brief, because I like briefs. I like format. I like there to be rules almost. So if the scratch building is to do with a certain topic or era or certain stuff you use, yes, I will be up for some of that. Right, I've just got to scroll down because I stopped the chat and I've kind of missed some stuff. Morgoth, another nice idea, building a large Borg vessel which is open, able with many details and a Borg mini figurines. Okay. Can I not just make that big square thing? Is that from the Borgs, that big square? Or am I mixing that with something else? I'm sure in Star Trek, isn't there a big square space thing? Watch for the announcement. Yeah, I will. I need to go on Discord, but make up a folder or a chat room or whatever it is that I go to, because there's so much. And honestly, I get overwhelmed, but in a good way, that you guys are doing so much on there. I love. I do hate the fact that I don't go on there, because I should. So yeah, I might make a folder, or I'll get Smoyne to do it, because obviously I haven't got a clue how to operate Discord, to do a folder that I go onto, and anyone who wants to ask me questions can go there. They can, if there's something happening in a different folder, they can mention it to me in that folder, just so I basically have one place to go. I say, because otherwise I get overwhelmed. Right, so, and distracted. So this is that one that had super potholes. They're still kind of there, but marginally, and some of them have kind of disappeared. I mean, because these were like super potholes. I think this is the lowest it goes now. Yeah, well, we'll try one more time, but I think that's as much as it's going to do. So it hasn't got rid of the potholes, but bearing in mind those potholes were super deep, they're now not so deep, and you can feel it. And when you paint it, you would notice a little bit there, but now it could look more like a laser or something has hit this vehicle or wall or whatever it is, as opposed to something blowing it all up. So yeah, much better. And it's a workout. Right, I need to scroll down again because otherwise I keep missing all the new stuff. CMN Gaming. I'm going to call you Gaming. I get tongue-tied at that first bit. Just wanted to know that Celtic Neutral Cow won't be on here for a bit as he's off on holiday. Oh, okay. Oh, well, hopefully they have a lovely time. Okay, me and Goblin are judging and can doing it. Okay. You think it's their most common shipped? Oh, okay, yeah. Emily, what about Space 1999? Yeah, so I like Space 1999. What was actually the other day? I forgot what the vehicle's called. I saw it when I was looking through, getting some stuff for 3D printing. Do you know Blake 7? The vehicle in that. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I only saw it. Again, this is why I hate the fact my memory is so pants. I only saw this vehicle yesterday. Yes, it was this morning. I think it was yesterday. And as soon as I saw it and the name, I was like, oh yeah, Blake 7. I love that. I can't think what the vehicle's called. Anyone here know what Blake 7's vehicle's called? Put it in the comments. You won't win anything, but it will stop my brain from keep whirring. Oh, 40k's gone on about the weird noise. Yeah, I'm not going to fall for that again. Oh, do you have one of the old 1999 vehicles? Yeah, did I have one of them? No, I think one of my mates had, because I know someone had one and I got to play with it. You are, madam. But yeah, I don't think it was mine. Right, so one thing I will say, obviously these bits that I'm cutting off from the sprue goo, so I know sometimes this is a question that gets asked, can these be put back in the jar of acetone? The answer kind of is yes. I don't, but you can. Only because whenever I have reused sprue panels or anything that's gone into the jar of acetone, any sprue goo that's hardened, once it's hardened, you put it back in acetone, it never seems to dissolve quite as well as it did the first time. I'm not sure if the compound material or whatever it is of this changes, but all I know is it never goes into really good sprue goo ever again. But if you had like a separate jar and you wanted it for like rough terrain, then yeah, I would use it again. But say I never normally use sprue goo that's hardened, just because it doesn't go into sprue goo again. Liberator, cheers Steve. See, I knew it would be you Steve that would know. Yeah, Liberator. Yeah, maybe we should have got making one of them. Scratch builder Liberator, because that is something that's would be very doable. Scratch buildable. I don't know. Arnold Degans, good evening. Good evening to you. Andrew can hear it too. Right. You guys did this the other night, and there was no sound. So, right. I can now hear myself in my ear, but there's like a 10-second delay. Oh no, I think you're right. I think I can hear a cat purring. Right, that was quite... Oh, it's still kind of there. Yeah. You're not playing. Like a tiny little motorbike engine. It is, yeah. Right. Oh, hold on. Right, I've just moved. Basically, again, if you could see my layout, I need to get a picture of it so you guys can see what I see. I've got two arms right in front of me. One's got a webcam. One's got like a Kindle on it. I'm just wondering if when I'm moving, the Kindle is shaking because it was touching. It might have just been vibrating or touching the microphone. Yeah, I think it's gone. I think that was it. Dark Soul. Acetone's a solvent and dissolving the sprues probably removes some of the original binding agent that was present when I made it. Remelting it would change its composition. Yeah, it's definitely something to do with all that. Yeah, chemistry is weird. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I think it is something. Something changes. Some compound changes within this. I say you can still melt it or dissolve it. It's just not as good. And the problem is sometimes it's not that good to begin with. So to use it or reuse it isn't the best of ideas. But again, if you're making something orky and you just wanted some really rough looking sort of panels, then yeah, it'd be good. Right. I am going to... Am I going to make a couple more? Was that a panel? Let's have a look. So I wanted to roll out a few panels and then basically, well, glue them on. What's that? L692. My question is a ghost. It disappeared. Yeah, apologies, yeah, guys. If you do ask me a question and I miss it, it's not intentional. It is as a case of I've missed it. Again, if you've got a question related directly to me, oh, I need to turn myself off because I can't. That in my ear. You'll do my name. Yeah, if you put at miniature hobbyist in your comment, just because on my screen it highlights it in yellow, which just obviously makes it stand out, and then I definitely know that it's been asked directly of me and not just sort of asking each other stuff. Make more orc stuff. I will be making, say, I'm going to be going onto this papercraft site just because then I want to make a tank or something, because I like tanks, and I want to make old Crazy Dave. So Crazy Dave driving a tank is obviously going to be a good place to start. Oh no, these ones are a bit too soft still. Yeah, so this one's definitely well and truly pizza, but on both sides. So that's quite rare. Normally you get one side that's alright. But this one, it's pizza face. So I thought what we'll do is we'll leave those for a bit. And I've also got one that I've wrapped around a tube. And obviously the idea of this is when you take it off, it'll still stay in that shape. Although the only problem is, it'll stay in that shape, but obviously it's not going to be as nice as these bits. So maybe I might take it out, especially now I can put things through here. Because obviously this, oh god man, almost gives them a bit of a roundness. So you could almost keep bending that and get it to be round. So obviously this was going to make up part of the engine thruster. But yeah, the chances are this won't be as smooth as these. So I might change my plan on that one. We'll leave that there for the moment. Right, we'll leave them there for the moment. And yeah, I'm gonna glue some bits on. I still haven't got any cement glue. Where can I put this stuff? Right, let's take that off. Crazy Dave and an orc built Bane blade. Bane blade. Yeah, well, he's definitely coming back, but I want to make Crazy Dave obviously going to be an orc head, but I'm thinking of making it so his body looks like it's a crash test dummy, or it's at least going to be, he's going to be in like a suit that's painted yellow with the black bits to make him look like a crash test dummy. Oh, you lost internet connection and probably didn't hear the answer. Oh, so here we go. How many flat elements do I need? Oh, blimey. This is where a lot of my builds, I play them by ear and I kind of make things up as I go along. I may have mentioned it in one of my previous things. Whenever I build something, whatever it might be, also, 2 seconds, just going to put some music back onto my head. Yeah, whatever I build, I kind of break it down into manageable parts, just so my head can get round bits, and then rather than looking at something as a whole and trying to deal with all the possible problems as a whole, I look at something and break it down. So with this, obviously my first thing was to make the frame, and in each part of the frame I was like making and building up. So like with this, if you saw my last streams, the first bit I built was like a centre bit. Then I put the nose bit on, then I put the top bit on, and then I put the wings on. So again, every bit I break down, and I don't think about the next bit until I get to the next bit. So I've not even thought about how many panels this may or may not need. I'm now kind of at that stage, but even then, I'm not going to see it as a whole that needs paneling. I'm going to start by getting the bits that I have got, cutting them up, and I'm going to basically cover from the front and just sort of work my way back. So yeah, so at no stage would I have thought about how many panels I would need for this. It is just a case of starting it, adding a panel, add a panel, add a panel, and then work my way back, and then go from there really. It's like this bit's obviously got some big jet engines that are going to go on here. I'm not thinking about them. Well, I'm not thinking about them, and I am a little bit, because obviously these like thruster intake bits, obviously this one didn't come out right. You saw at the beginning of this live stream, I showed how I'm making this but easier and better. So these bits, obviously big thruster engines that are going to go on here, one either side, and there's one underneath. So as much as I'm kind of planning ahead getting these bits done, I'm not thinking much more about the rest of that. Yeah, my plan was to basically get the framework done in all its little sections, and now I'm going to start covering it with these bits. Start at the front and go round. Obviously, again, I did have a little bit of foresight, or whatever you want to call it, in making these like the winged bits that are going to go on there. But there's loads of other little bits that I'm going to do, probably mould making, like some of the guns. There's guns like on the sides and at the back. I may well make them out of some sort of mould, just to make it easier to cast. Well, not necessarily easier to cast, but easier to make by casting it, if that makes sense. Right, did I miss something there? Let's have a quick look. I have no clue what this is, says Paige, but it looks good. Thank you so much, you're so kind. I hope you clicked the like button. I hope you've all clicked the like button. And if you can share this anywhere, I don't know where you'd share it, but share it with your Nan's knitting group, that'd be awesome. I'm sure they'd love it. But yeah, if you can sound it. 40k guy, the sound is back. You're having a laugh, aren't you? Is it still touching? I think so. Oh, it might actually be touching. Let's move that forward. Right, there we go. Yeah, like, share, comment, eat cookies. The whirring is back. Is it not because it was touching? Oh yeah, I can hear it again. Well, I honestly can't think what it is, unless it's the light. But it's like an ultra high frequency that I can't hear, but the microphone's picking it up. So I don't think the microphone's touching anything that's making it vibrate. Yeah, it's like crazy low, isn't it? Well, apologies guys, because I'm not too sure what's causing that. Has it gone now? Nope, it's still there. Yeah, apologies guys, I'm not too sure unless I try and talk a bit louder. Yeah, because there's no sound in my little desk area that's doing it. And say the sound's being picked up by the webcam. I'm trying to do it so the sound's on my microphone. Obviously my microphone is a better system. But the usual kind of thing, having problems getting everything set up. But I will keep going. Yeah, there's no fans in here. There's nothing in here that vibrates. So I've got the window open, but there's nothing out there. Again, I can't hear it here, but obviously somehow the webcam's picking up a little bit of a noise. Oh yeah, it's gone again. Right, yeah, so for next time I'm going to try again to try and get my microphone working. Just because obviously it's a better microphone, because obviously it's got one of those, I don't know, can you see it? Ooh, where is it? Oh, can't get it in a shot. But it's got the old like woolly hat thing, whatever it's called. So yeah, hopefully that would solve whatever problem it is. So that obviously the webcam's picking something up, or it's making its own noise, because there's no noise here. Anyway, let's get back to this. I was going to use my pen. So luckily it's not loud. It's just obviously, well, there, isn't it, I suppose? And more so you can hear it when I'm not talking. So I'll try and talk as much as I can. Yeah, I think it's come back again. But I'm going to turn myself off again, because listening to myself in my ear is so weird. Right. Oh no, that's not the one. We'll do that. Bear with me 2 seconds. Oh, I was meant to do that. 2 seconds, guys. There's me saying share this. I was meant to share something right at the beginning when I started the stream and I forgot to push the button. So it's still there, kind of like waiting to be shared. Right, that's gone. Get rid of that. Nearly done. Right, there we go. Yeah, so we'll start putting some panels on. So say when I first obviously made the framework for this, some of these nibbly knobbly bits, obviously I'll try to cut up as much as I could. If they are still protruding when obviously I offer this up, then I'm going to try and cut them, and I have got some sandpaper that I might use. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but if there's a bit that's really sort of sticking out, then I will try and cut the sucker off. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, so how long have I been going? An hour and a half, and I'm now finally about to start doing something to the actual build. But so I think it's quite important to show, and to make some of these panels a bit more thinner. Sound like a camera trying to focus. Let's have a look. I'll check. I don't think the camera. I'm sure the camera's set so it doesn't try to autofocus. Although these, there's probably a motor in there, I guess. Let's have a look. Because you never know. Because it might have happened when I moved in or out. Although my head hasn't really moved a whole lot. But let's try. Face webcam. Let's have a little look. Configure video. White balances, auto camera control. Right, it was on auto, so let's turn that off, and we'll turn that off. Yeah, I'm still relatively in focus. Right, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see the rest of it. If it doesn't make any more noises, let me know, guys, because I have just turned off the autofocus. Because yeah, that might make a little bit of a noise, I guess. Hard to say. Again, it's probably a noise that I wouldn't hear, but you would, because obviously the microphone's picking up the noise of itself. Anyway, I'm waffling again. I do waffle. It's gone now, anyways. Yeah, it may well have been. Yeah, I think Woodworker may have hit the nail on the head. We shall see. If it does make it again, then it wasn't that, but it may have been. Andrew, love the jousting diorama we made. You was back in the Kickstarter. Oh, cool. Oh, awesome. Can't wait to actually get time to design the castle. Yeah, I must admit, when I saw it, yeah, the amount of stuff he's got as well. I really fancy building the castle, but I might scale it down. Print it off to like 15mm scale, just so I can get, obviously, the big castle, but in a smaller area. Yeah, because the castle does look pretty awesome. Although I've got another Kickstarter I'm going to be doing soon. I'm working with another chap who's doing a Kickstarter basically, but that'll be out in about a week or so's time. Anyway, let's get back to this. So yeah, so again, in regards to how many panels, I could try and work it out, but I'm not, because a lot of it's going to come down to the size of the bits of sprue panel I've got and how much can be made out of each one. So the good thing with this model is when you look at it, a lot of it is kind of made from panels. This picture's probably not the best. I don't know, you might be able to see it. It's like up here, there's like a little panel there. A panel there. Well, there's two panels there actually. A panel goes along there. A little panel down here. So what I might do is when I put these panels on, once they're on, I then might get one of my sharp tools and score lines into it, just so when I come to paint it there will be like indentations or lines in it, especially when I do like a black wash or whatever wash I do, just so that it will highlight the panels even more. But yeah, so I do like the look of this ship. It's quite chunky. Obviously, I love the big engines and obviously big guns everywhere. Pretty cool. So anyway, enough waffling. Are those working siege weapons? Oh yes, yeah, back with the old, yeah, Justin one, yeah. Can I make a dwarven or orc airship? I've made an airship before out of sprues, hot air balloon out of sprues. It was the pirate one. Have you not seen that 40k guy? Yeah, there's a pirate ship held up by a hot air balloon, but there's a big tentacle coming out of the sea that's wrapped around the airship, and that was all made from sprue. I'm not making a bigger one. I'm not making big stuff. I'm making small stuff. Have you not seen the title of this channel? It's miniature, or supposedly. Right. Anyway, let's get a bit glued on because I feel bad that I've not glued anything. Right. So we're going to do the good old high-tech bit of offering it up. So we'll actually film some of this. Offering it up, drawing round it, and then cutting it. So not quite the old measure twice, cut once. This is more the budget and see sort of method. Right, let's go along. That's quite a nice flat bit, and we'll hold that there. Get that in camera. And there we go. And then we can show just how easy this is. I'm going to cut a little bit wider, just because then I can trim once it's on. Obviously, best to have a little bit extra than not enough. Go like that. And then, yeah, if we glue it on, and then I can just trim off any little bits that need trimming off. This is the true hobby method. Well, I do like measuring normally, but for this, because I know the angles aren't going to be, well, especially like both sides, they're not going to be the same. So it's not worth trying to measure one and then cut two lots of these out, because what will fit one side may or may not fit the other side, because the angles, they're not going to be exact, but miniature for giants, yeah. Yeah, I'm only building things now that fit nicely on my desk and still give me room to put my bits and pieces, because otherwise it just becomes nuts. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I should have got. I know I said this in the last one. I've had a few days. I could have bought some as well. I will be getting some cement glue, because cement glue is so much nicer and easier to use on this plastic stuff, because obviously it bonds really well, because it obviously dissolves one piece into the other. You get it on your hands, it doesn't stick your fingers together, which is awesome. But I've got lots of this. Well, I say I've got a couple of bottles of this, and obviously it's quite full. It lasts quite a while because it is quite a size bottle. It's not bad, but like it says on it, it's set time 5 to 15 seconds. As a rule of thumb, I would say it's probably more like 10 to 20 to 25 seconds it takes to bond, unless it's your fingers, and then as soon as it touches your fingers, instantaneous. But yeah, plastic again, and sometimes you can offer it up and it not dry at all. So yeah, I would rather be using cement glue. I just don't have any. Right, so this is what I mean by cutting bits off. I don't know, again, if you guys were here on my first stream when I glued this together, the green sprues have something on them. It's like a thin layer of something, because the green sprues and the red sprues, they're from the Blood Bowl. like Warhammer Blood Bowl. But the green ones, they just wouldn't glue together. So I ended up cheating, and I used my UV resin and obviously my little blue light to glue them, which is why that one's actually not actually even attached. But that's why some of these bits have got little lumps of resin on them. Obviously on the inside it's fine, it's just on the outside I'm trying to cut bits off. As a rule of sticking to your thumb is a lot quicker than sticking to anything else, and everything else sticks to it. It is, yeah. Ah, moisture. Okay, that's why it glues fingers. Oh, I didn't realise that. Google search. So take it. GW uses something similar to polystyrene, so heating isn't great for it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, I wonder how well this is going to stick to this, because I forgot about the green bits just not playing ball. I'm going to do a bit of filming again, just because obviously if I don't, then I just kind of forget. Right, I have to adjust the lights a little bit because I want to get in quite close. And push the button. So obviously I know there was a case of like a little dab would do ya, but in this case lather it on. Oh, I want to carry on filming actually. Don't stop the filming. My little finger. Well, not little finger. Oh man. Right, well, we'll stop that while I try and retrieve my finger. Bosh. Yeah, so I even said in my last stream I was going to get the cement glue just because I know how much nicer it is to work with as opposed to this stuff. Because say you get it on your fingers, it doesn't stick your fingers. But here we go. So that's how you're talking about ovens. What, to melt sprues? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little mad, but I wouldn't do that. Right, well I think it seems to have stuck, because there was so much of it, it seems to have stuck to the green one. At least it wasn't my foreskin. What do you mean again? What streams have you been watching? You sure it was me? Is that Erasmus Expeditions? Howdy, fellow nerds. You alright, bud? I would recommend against heating any plastics to melt. Oh, okay. You guys are talking to yourselves. That's fine. Jason Statham. If only that was the real Jason Statham, I would turn for you. For making the panels, what if you were to recreate a wooden box, line with parchment, put the goo in it, then use clamps to squish it thin? Funny enough, that was something I was thinking the other day about getting the wood and yeah, getting some sort of like the old butterfly things on the rod and flatten it. Yes, I did think about that. That's as far as I got thinking about it, because I haven't got the wood, I haven't got clamps or bolts and butterfly. I haven't got anything to do to be able to do that. But no, that is something. Funny enough, I was thinking in the last few days how well that would work, because obviously clamping, squishing, it's got to be a winner. It is just purely a case of I don't have wood, or the wood, or the clamps, or yeah, the stuff to do it. But one day I may well do it. Breathing on super glue due to the moisture will make it set faster. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I've heard the super glue in the oven produces cyanide, so yeah. Is it better to get milliput green stuff to fill in the gaps in minis rather than just using cement glue? Well, funny you say that. One of the first videos I saw of sprue goo ever being used, obviously it wasn't called sprue goo, it was, what did they call it? I don't think they called it anything. I think they just called it, no, I can't remember, they called it anything. But yeah, it was the video that got me started on the whole making sprue goo and all the rest of it. Was someone took some, well, like 1 or 2 small bits of sprue and then put them in a small little jar that had cement glue. So they didn't use acetone, they used cement glue to dissolve the sprue, and then they used that with a little brush to paint on to fill in any gaps in miniatures. And it was watching that video, which would have been 2 years ago, that got me onto the whole idea of making sprue goo, but then obviously using it for different things and not just using it to fill in gaps in figures. But so yeah, they put sprues in a small jar of cement glue to dissolve it. There you go. Something you may have known or may not have known. Oh, someone just said they've got loads of sprues. Let's have a look. They've whizzed off my screen. Avalon 2. Hey there. Right back at you. I've got a bag of about 1.5 GW bags filled with sprues, and you're thinking of sending them to me. I would love you to send them to me. There should be a link in the description. Basically, if you just contact me, my email, which is miniaturehobbyist@gmail.com. There should be a link down below as well. But if you contact my email, well, which obviously contacts me, I'll let you know how you can send them if you do decide to send them. I'd love to have them. So I am going to be building or doing 1 build a month from now on. And I may or may not have enough sprues to even finish this one off. I'm not sure. It's going to be close. But yeah, I would love to have any sprues anyone wants to send me. But yeah, just message me or email me, and that's how we get it sorted. Right. Alright, just going to quickly check something. Not that one. Cool. Yeah, so guys, if you haven't already, if you can click the like button, that's much appreciated, because it obviously does let YouTube then know that people that are watching it like it, and hopefully it will push it out to more people, which would be pretty awesome. Dark Soul, want to test this, just read that maybe orange oil can dissolve polystyrene. So I'm wondering if it's an alternative to acetone. Yeah, give it a go. I've never heard of orange oil, so be intrigued to know what it does or what it is. So yeah, by all means, give that a go. Right, so that should have set by now. So what I'm going to do is get a blade and just trim off the edge. He says, oh, I'm going to use a scissors because the scissors cut it really well. So that's the one thing again I love about these sprue panels, the fact that they can just be cut with a pair of scissors. It's pretty cool. Right, and there we go. So big question, guys. I don't think anyone's mentioned it, so I'm kind of thinking it hasn't happened. But has that noise come back? Because obviously, was it Woodman? I've forgotten your name. Sorry, fella. Say memory like a sieve. Something. His name was something Wood. Mentioned that it might be the webcam focusing in and out that could have been causing that noise. Obviously, I've changed the focus now, so it's set as it is. It's not going to move. So hopefully that may well have been the issue of that little motor noise. Maybe. Dark Souls hasn't heard of it before, but it's probably a lot more expensive, being an essential oil. Okay. Dark Souls' problem with acetone is the smell. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the lid's always on. Obviously, you take the lid off, there is a smell, but obviously, whenever I take the lid off, I normally have it kind of like arm's reach, doing that, using whatever I'm going to do with it, put the lid straight back on. Obviously, the panels. Even the sprues don't really smell of anything. No, there's no real smell. Unless I've got COVID and I can't smell anything. Yeah, I can smell that. Yeah, don't go smelling stuff, guys, because some of it might be good for you. Yeah, I mean the acetone. Yeah, I don't have the lid off for a lot. Well, basically I have the lid off whatever time I need to sort of get the goo out, and then the lid goes back on. So, and again, I've got a window just there. So I've got a huge window literally behind my shoulder here, and yeah, it's ventilated. But then you're saying that the one time I did wear the old mask thingy was when I was doing the Tau Manta, because I had the lid off for quite a long time when I was getting the sprue goo out to cover big areas. I did wear a mask then, because obviously, and gloves, because yeah, the lid was off for quite some time and there was quite a bit of a smell. But typically I can't smell it because I don't have the lid off long enough, really. Oh, pardon me. Woodworker, yes, it was you, fella. Yes, thank you for that. No, noise did not come back. Well, fingers crossed that was it, because then what I can do then, every time I start the stream, for some reason the settings always go to so it sort of focuses, which I don't like. I like to be in control of where it focuses. So yeah, so I'll just click that off, and fingers crossed, it's all good. Yeah. Am I planning to add some weight to the front? Add some weight to the front of the ship. I'm not sure what you mean by add weight to it. Obviously, again, I break these things down. So my first plan, or my plan at the moment, or stage where I'm at the moment, is to basically cover everything you see with panels. The next thing would possibly be to do the engines on either side, or it might even do the landing feet, just so it'll obviously sit nicely. Because obviously at the moment I've stuck this little bit of green bit at the back, and that's purely to keep it from like that, because it'll fall down otherwise. So yes, I'm not too sure what you mean by add weight to the front of the ship. Andrew has to head off. Have a good stream. Cheers, buddy. Well, thanks for being there. Thanks for watching. It's always much appreciated, you guys being there. Obviously commenting and chatting with each other, and yeah, just being there. Obviously it's all good stuff. Right, so let's try and find a flatter bit than that. That bit doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I think that bit's going to be enough. Yeah. Again, putting it in that roller, both sides feel nice and smooth, whereas normally one side is always better than the other. So yeah, I think the roller is going to be something I'm going to use all the time. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys like the little shorts or not, but every now and then I'll do little shorts. And I think one of the shorts might be on getting sprue panels even smoother, and that will be one where I sort of get the roller and do the panels as a small little thing. I meant that it won't flip to the back. Sorry, Al, I'm still not 100% sure what you're saying. Again, that's only there because I haven't got the landing sort of skid things on it. But there's two that come down here, one at the front. So when it sits there, it sits there. It won't flip or go anywhere. Yeah, so obviously as the picture shows, there's obviously, you can just about see it. But yeah, that sort of landing foot that's there, there's obviously one either side, and they're literally just sort of at the start of the wings, so they're nice and wide, so it'll stop it from flipping sideways, and yeah, it won't go backwards because, well, it's going to have 2 good feet on it. I hope that answers your question. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Right. Joel, are these sprue made models sturdy enough to be playable in games? I would say yes. I always try to make can't even talk. I always try and make frames for anything I build to be sturdy. By the time it gets all these panels on it as well, obviously it's going to have a nice layer of skin all over it. It's going to be sturdy. These leg bits that come down, I'm going to attach, basically I'm not going to put anything on these bits yet, or even underneath here, because I want to use the sprues. Obviously these will be made attached, so they like get attached on the inside, so they're going to have quite a lot of contact points. Basically what I'm trying to say is the feet on this aren't going to snap off or be rammed up inside the thing when you put it down. Obviously if you drop this on the floor and then stood on it, yeah, it's not going to take that kind of punishment. If you drop this on the floor, again, depends from what height and all the rest of it, but I think you could drop this on the floor and it would bounce, as opposed to obviously the metal one of these that would just leave a hole in the floor. But yeah, no, this is made so that it can be picked up, it can be moved around, it won't wobble. Like at the moment, I mean, the wings are nice and firm and they haven't even got anything in the middle. They are quite solid. Yeah, I sometimes when I build things, I may overbuild them, as in too many struts and cross members. But I like something so it doesn't warp, and you're not going to be like, oh, I've got to be careful picking it up. I want to be like, you can just pick it up, move it around. Basically, I make things so that my son, if he wanted to pick this up, he could pick it up, move it around, or even pretend to like play with it. And yeah, he's 9, but he's a big 9. Right. Anyway, let's waffle on. Counterbalance for that weight. L, I'm guessing you're saying yes, it does to me answering your question. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Woodward, did you ever try to add butyl acetone to your sprue? Oh, was it you who mentioned it? Because I mentioned this the other day, that someone had mentioned to me a long time ago. There's something you can get that's stronger than acetone, but it's also more dangerous, as in it's something you'd want to use in a lab rather than someone's home. I couldn't remember what it was called, but someone told me there is something that's a lot stronger than acetone, and basically it would melt these down into a real gooey, ooey, spruey stuff. So yeah, it may well have been yourself. That makes up the hobby styrene glue. Okay, yeah, because I know whoever mentioned it did say it was one that you would wear a mask, you would wear gloves, and I think they even said you may or may not even be able to buy it because you'd need to have like a license or something to actually use it. It's not, yeah, it's not a home hobbyist's stuff. I can't remember if that may have been you, it may not have been you, I'm not sure. Right. So there's a few bits that are better than others. So there's one here which was that one that was a bit of the old rough what's it. So them kind of ones, they can go underneath because they're still nice and smooth. A little bit of indentations, but you're not going to see underneath. So anything that's going to be sort of on top or more on show. Oh, pardon me. I am obviously going to try and find the nicer, better ones. It's a controlled chemical. Yeah. So when it's controlled, does that mean it shouldn't be in the hands of novices? Right. well, I think that's going to cover that bit quite nicely. Right, let's get ready to cut up a bit. Is that the best? Yeah, that's the best side. Well, again, even this front top bit has quite a bit more sort of gubbins to go on it, so we'll get the nicest bits I can, but I don't need to be perfect. And again, good old offer it up, a couple of lines, cut it, job done, and then glue it. What's the worst that could happen? It's regulated and monitored because it can be very dangerous to use. Yes, that's what. Yeah, the one that someone told me about was, yeah, it wasn't your typical home use jobby. Not sure. Oh, is that way around? Just means it'd be more expensive. Yeah, probably. Right, why is this looking a bit weird? Have I? Oh, there we go. Had it upside down. Again, so when all these bits do go on, again, in my head, I'm thinking obviously as much as I want them to line up nicely. If they're not perfect, that's fine, because what I'll do is I'll probably go over, sand everything, and then using the sprue goo for the other obviously good intended purpose, which is to fill gaps. It's great at filling gaps. So obviously you can put a little bit in there, wait till that dries, hardens, and then give that a sand and get a nice sort of square 90-degree edge. So yeah, and again, like I said before, whenever you use making something out of sprues and using sprue goo, you do have to accept it's not going to be perfect, because, well, you're recycling something that's kind of normally meant for the bin. And so I think once I've done this stream, I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to get myself some cement glue, just because I say I keep forgetting just how bad using this glue is for your fingers, or let's say how bad, but how annoying. Definitely how annoying it is. How we doing? Oh, we've got 81 thumbs up. That's not bad when there's about 50 watching. I can live with those kind of odds. But obviously, if you are on and you haven't given it a thumbs up, and you have enjoyed it, or you like it, or you think it warrants a thumbs up, I would much appreciate, well, you giving it a thumbs up, basically. So again, yeah, back to the strength of this. So the fact that it is pretty strong with just the frames, when you get these panels on and they sort of bind and tie in everything, it really does then become a whole lot more stronger. So yeah, there's a fair chance that once this is done, again, because I don't mind making Warhammer stuff, but I never use it, so I always feel bad making something that's just going to sit around and gather dust. So there's a fair chance this will go on eBay. Obviously I'm not expecting much for it, but it'd be more, yeah, it'd be more enjoyable for me knowing this goes to someone, especially, so this is built to scale. I've forgotten the chap's name who came on the other stream, who's got one of these, and he gave me the measurements, and I think I was 1mm short compared to his, which I was obviously very happy with, because I eyeballed this by printing this out, and I eyeballed it to roughly the scale that it looked when Squidmar was holding his, painting his. So every time he put his hand up, I was using my hand to gauge roughly the size. But obviously I'm kind of thinking that Squidmar's, I think, probably taller than me, because I'm quite short. So yeah, so this was guesstimated or eyeballed. But then say the guy came on the other day, gave me the measurements, and I measured mine, and I was 1mm short. And it's like, I can live with that. That's not bad going. But then he gave me the measurements of the wings, so I've got the wings exactly to size. Yeah, yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is, give or take, this is the size of the original 97 one. Then obviously the Forge World ones are quite a bit bigger, by, I don't know, probably about 60 millimeters or so. They're quite a bit bigger. So if you did buy this, you could use this at a tournament. Obviously it's not going to have the bit at the front that comes down for bits to come out, but then again, nor does the metal one. But yeah, I mean, you could use it to go wherever it goes. Again, I'm waffling, but yeah, it's probably going to go on eBay. Right. Use activator spray for super glue. Use respirators. It's just really weird because I find, because this one has got a smell, but it's not over pungent. But I find the cement glue is stronger, because I know when I was doing the Orc Stomper, and obviously I think I was putting the rivets on, and there was like hundreds of these little rivets, and I was gluing them all on individually, and I got a headache from doing that. Again, ventilation was good, but I think it's just because obviously I was like quite close to it, and yeah, so that's why I have to be careful with the cement glue, because I just find that I can't use it for too long. But there we go. Piper Adams, howdy to you too. It's coming on. Yeah, it's coming on. It's again, when I'm live streaming, we all know that when I do things live streaming, it does take a whole lot longer than it would do normally, because I do a bit of waffling and sidetracking and going around the houses and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's coming along, so I'm happy. You guys are happy. We're all happy, and it's the weekend, so like I say, it's all good. Overhang that a little bit to make it easier if I need to trim any off. Oh, just take the lid off first, never mind. So yeah, good old skilled measurements here. Offer it up, draw some lines. I can cut that one off, and yeah, jobs are good. The activator can also have a bad smell. Well, I think anything like this stuff is going to be, well, it's all kind of like toxic, isn't it? So it's all going to have smells, odours. Yours fries your sinuses. Yeah, I say it's really weird, because it gave me a little bit of a headache, the cement glue, but it was, yeah, like I say, the nose just felt like, oh, it's just too much. Yeah, it's quite flat. Hold that for a couple of seconds. Pizza loving gals on the fries now. Is that fries or about the vino? Are you on the vino? Would you like fries with that, madam? Or how much do you like pizza? That pizza loving gal. Yes, I'm certainly hoping that some of the sprues that are being sent to me recently do come reasonably quickly. I say, because there's a little bit of sprue goo left in there, and then other than that, this is the entirety of my sprues. And this was even me going through. So I've got some of the Blood Bowl kits that I've not built yet, and this was me even nicking the sprues from the Blood Bowl figures without assembling the figures, and this is kind of, yeah, this is all I've got left. So if you've got sprues and you're in the UK, I would love them, even if it's only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 sort of sprues. If you can send them to me, that would be awesome. I say there's some lovely guys in America. I think there's 4 or 5 that are sending me sprues. But obviously if it's coming from America, we're looking at least a week, maybe 2 weeks to sort of come from there. And it would ideally be nice to get this done by the end of this month. So cause I want to do 1 sprue build a month. So obviously we're in August, this would be my build this month. So ideally I'd like to get it done this month. Popcorn. Huh? Oh, so you're not on wine then, Peter. You're on popcorn. Pizza is hard not to like. Yeah, everyone likes pizza. Ah, but did you know an amazing thing you can do with pizza boxes? Recycle them. Kit bash, scratch bash. I'm sure there's lots of things you can do with pizza boxes. Avalon just sent an email for the sprues. Yeah, well, as soon as I've done this, so Avalon 2, are you UK or are you overseas? Alex thinks there's a box of sprues that you can send me. I mean, honestly, when I say I could do some sprues, I really am talking about like 3 or 4 sprues, like obviously full, not with the miniatures, but full sprues. Because say this is all I've got, and I've got some panels behind me that I need to put through the old roller. But I don't think I've got enough to probably cover this, and so then I've got to make all the bits and pieces to go around it. But let's say it's my fault because obviously, again, the usual thing, I get excited about starting something, didn't have many sprues. I think it's because I kind of thought I had more sprues, but obviously at some stage I must have got rid of the last few that I had left over after doing the Tau Manta. But the Netherlands, well, that's certainly nearer than the Americans. But yes, guys, I appreciate any sprues you guys send me, because obviously I know, obviously the sprues isn't costing you anything to send because obviously they're just left over. But I appreciate obviously you guys paying for the postage to get them to me here in the UK. Do a Thunderhawk pizza box. Or maybe I'll ask that pizza loving gal if she's got loads of pizza boxes kicking around. Because obviously if she's, well, a pizza loving gal, you'd expect her to have the odd pizza box or 2. Are we getting a pizza box video in the near future? What have I started with pizza boxes? I blame you. Pizza loving gal, I blame you for the pizza box. Yeah. What I'm going to say, with all these edges, some of them do look as rough as a badger's what's it. Again, it's not going to be too bad because once I get the whole thing done, I'm going to trim off bits and then say get the sprue goo, and then that'll just finish off edges nicely. Pizza loving gal, give me the hearts. But are you going to give me the pizza boxes, pizza loving gal? I hope you're not throwing the boxes away, because I reckon you could stack what, 2 or 3, maybe even 4. Good bit of balance. Whereabouts in the UK am I? I am Southern Hampshire. So I'm South UK. I'm not a million miles from the sea. I'm not near. I'm about half an hour from the sea. But yeah, Southern Hampshire is where I live. What's that? Is it Try Go Presto? Well, I know my next project. We can do something with pizza boxes. Dark Souls now getting hungry. So you pizza loving gal, you're gonna have to sort of give us all pizza now. It's a great idea, not gonna lie. I think the pizza boxes, obviously they're decent pizzas. Well, suppose it depends on where you get them from. Some probably better boxes than others. But yeah, basically it's cardboard, which is good. Guys, Portsmouth. Yeah, say Portsmouth is, yeah, Southsea is my nearest beach. To get to Southsea from where I am, it's about half an hour. To get parked up can be another 10-15 minutes. But yeah, Portsmouth, Southsea. Yeah, I was down at Southsea a couple of days ago. Is that Oven 21? Greet from the US. Want to say thanks to you. I'll be planning out a ship of my own with Sprues. Awesome. Do you recommend first drawing and gathering references? If you're looking at making a specific ship, then yes, I would get resources galore. If you're making one up for your own sort of entertainment, so it doesn't have to look like something else, then yeah, what I normally do, I would draw out roughly how I want it to look. I say the best thing you can do as well is, if you're going to draw it out to scale. So this was printed to the size that I wanted to make, because then I then use this as a reference. So the first thing I always do when I'm making a big build, make the framework. So if you print out the ship to the size you want, you can then get your sprues and literally put them over it, cut them up, oh pardon me, glue them together and build it up. So yeah, I would always suggest printing or drawing something to the scale you want it to be. Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier. And obviously, if you're making it yourself and you're not really copying something else, have the rough idea of how you want it to look, start building it, but then as you're building it, you might get other ideas and think, oh, this will look better, that'll look better, and then yeah, change it, adapt it, and do whatever you want to do. But obviously with mine, I'm sticking to make mine look exactly like this. So yes, everything I make is going to be made to this scale. But yeah, if you're making it just for yourself, yeah, have fun with it as well. Piper Atoms. So you is it Piper or Pipper? I'm probably, well, you won't be able to tell me. You're getting hungry. All this talk of pizza. Alex just checked, and I have a lot of sprues, and I'm in the UK, Dover. Should I send you an email to get them? Yeah, please, buddy. Yeah, Dover. Well, you're about an hour and a half from me, but yeah, no, please. Because I'm sure your sprues would get here sooner than the American ones. But say, because I'm going to be building something every month, I want to get a collection of sprues. To say, before, I had, there's at least 12 or 13 big boxes. When I say big boxes, I'm talking like a box, say 2 foot by 2 foot by, yeah, say 2 foot all over. So a reasonable sized box stacked with sprues, and at one stage I had about 12 or 13 of these, and it got to a stage where I had no room, and that's when I stopped. Well, I started asking people not to send them in because it was just getting nuts. But then obviously you're doing that Town Manta and other builds, they kind of soon went. But the good thing is where I am now, or I say where I am now, I've literally moved flats. I've moved 20 feet up. It's only a small block of flats, there's only 5 flats, but I'm in a bigger flat with a lot more room and a lot more storage. So I can accommodate a lot more stuff, basically. So yes, that's why I'm going to get back into scratch bashing as well, because I've got an area where I can get a big box and just start keeping all bits of plastic and well, bits and pieces in there. Oh yeah, pizza loving gal, if you are still there, do you have any old electronic stuff, as in like a VCR or anything of that sort of nature? I know it's a bit of a weird request, but with scratch bashing you kind of build stuff out of all sorts, and things like old VCRs, they have lots of gubbins that are pretty cool. Yeah, and obviously I've not had a VCR in years. Right, what's the best way to get most out of this? Oh, that's quite... So yeah, it's great because I say these normally, the panels, one side is normally clearly easier to see and feel as being the best, but these ones that I've rolled out in the old pasta roller, both sides are good, which is good. Yeah, because that thing, even though that big blob of green looks like it would be a dent, it's not. It's flat. Because obviously the whole thing has just been squished. So I think we'll use that as the flat edge that can go there. So again, good old holding up, eyeballing, measuring. Oh, I should turn the lid up again. Oh man. Oh, there we go. And we'll go along there and along there, and a bit of pen on my hand. Not going to kill me. Over 21. Cool. Have a very. Thank you very much. Have a rough idea. Cool. Yeah. Again, if it was me building it, in my head, I'm always thinking about the frame. It's like building a house. If you get the groundwork sorted, the house just goes up nicely. If you don't do the groundwork first, the house is going to be on a slope or on a slant or whatever it is, and it won't look good. So yeah, printing or drawing something to scale makes you do a nice sort of framework, and then once you start covering it with stuff, obviously it's much easier to cover it with stuff once you get a good framework. That's what I'm kind of saying. Peace, love and girl, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I will message you properly, but I just thought as you're there I'd ask. Cool. Right, I think as I haven't videoed, I'm going to video another small little section. Let's get in a bit close. So usual bit, say I am videoing throughout these live streams just so that the end video will be 14-15 minutes, like the usual kind of length I like my videos, and it will show the whole process beginning to end, but obviously over 14 minutes rather than the 8, 10, 12 hours it's going to actually take to physically make it. But I think that's why it's quite nice that sometimes you guys get to see the live streams just of how long it does take things. Because I think sometimes when you watch a video, because even myself, when I watch someone else build something, and they'll start building a bit, and then they obviously go to the next bit and they're making something else, and in my head I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll know how long it would have taken to doing that first bit, even though it'll only last in the video for sort of say 10 seconds, 15 seconds, but in reality it's taken that guy several hours to do that 10-15 seconds, and every 10-15 seconds is a few hours. But yeah, so I think live streams are quite cool that you get to see just how much work goes into some builds. I think I'm going to trim that a bit first, just so this will lay a bit. Oh no, you can pop it underneath actually. Oh yeah, no, that's fine actually. Right, never mind, I'm just waffling, talking to myself. Right, there we go, make sure it is filming. Slap on the glue. And obviously when I do my videos, I do all the editing, voicing over bit afterwards, which is why I can sort of say whatever I want now, because you're not going to hear it in the video. I'll do that. We'll turn that off, but I'm going to keep holding this for a bit longer. Oh, the old thumbs up have jumped up, 107. Well, thank you everyone who has pushed the thumbs up button. That's much appreciated. I say it's one of those ones. It's a simple thing to do. I mean, whenever I watch a video, I always give it a thumbs up. Obviously, and my own videos I watch, I give a thumbs up. Just because obviously it doesn't do anything to you, but it does a big deal to that person's video, and obviously YouTube then trying to promote it to other people. So yeah, it's a simple and easy thing to do, but it can mean quite a lot to other people. Have I tried melting other plastics that aren't sprues? No. Simple answer to that. I have been told what kind of plastic this is. I've forgotten because I've got memory like a sieve. And I've been told what other things have got the same plastic as these. so they should melt the same. I can't remember for sure, but I'm sure someone said the plastic milk bottles, whatever plastic that is the same as this. Don't quote me because I may well have got that wrong, because I do get things wrong because of my memory. But yeah, so there are quite a lot of other plastics in this, whatever this plastic's called, that would melt just the same in acetone. But I haven't. I think purely because, again, because obviously I make videos, so in my title, it's nice when I put a title out and it says a sprue build, what, like 100% sprue build or 100% Warhammer sprue build. So it makes for a nicer, shorter, easier title, rather than me put sprue built plus plastic from milk bottles, from toaster blah 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 bits or whatever. So it's more purely because it sounds better for my titles to say I've made something with 100% Warhammer sprues, which is why I say I've got quite a lot of the WizKids Frameworks sprues. So I'm going to be making some D&D stuff with their sprues. And I think the first thing I'm going to make is possibly a dragon. Again, just because their sprues melt just the same as Warhammer sprues in acetone. So with the ooey gooey sprue stuff, I'll be able to make a dragon, which will be quite cool. Right. Yeah, so it definitely needs tidying up and cutting up and making it look a bit better, but it's all good. Although I think I'm going to trim that side. Just because then it's going to look even to the other side. Oh man, this lid, I keep forgetting I need to take it off beforehand. It's like it's on there. Stomper built from milk bottles. That's it. So if I made it all entirely from milk bottles, then that would work in the title. It'd be a nice title. I don't go through enough milk, I don't think, because I only go through milk when my kids are here. I don't normally, I don't drink milk. So yes, I haven't got many milk bottles. I don't really want people to start sending me milk cartons or bottles or whatever. You can buy sheets of styrene specifically for modelling. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Right, let's see if I can cut this freehand. We're nearly through. Obviously this would have been easier to have cut before putting it on, but where is the fun in that, eh? Don't want everything to be easy. Oh, there we go, that's come off. Cool. Well, that was pretty easy. So again, yeah, anyone who has just joined, a lot of these sort of bits that I'm cutting off from the sprue panels, you could put them back in the acetone. They would kind of dissolve, but they wouldn't dissolve as much or as nice as they did initially. Yeah, as we were kind of discussing earlier, the compound or whatever structure sprues are made of, once they dissolve in acetone, they take on a little bit of a different sort of compound or whatever the word is. So yeah, so this will dissolve in acetone. It just won't go as soft or as nice as before. I'm sure when I've done it before just to test it, it's almost like porridge. Some of it has dissolved nicely, some of it's a little bit on the lumpy side. And so if you're trying to make smooth panels, it's hard enough making smooth panels as it is, let alone when you know you're going to get lumpy bits. So yeah, I don't do it, but you could do. Right, I think it's time for a chocolate biscuit, because I'm not eating anything. Any questions, guys, by all means ask while I'm eating my biscuit. And also don't put it in the oven. Are we still talking about plastics and glue then? Yeah. They make great scenery. Yeah, if you're making like rough terrain, then or even like rough walls, yeah, by all means keep them bits of sprue goo that have hardened and use them again. It's just if you want to try and make nice panels, it would never work. But yeah, for bits of scenery, it'd be awesome. So yeah, something I haven't asked. Where are you guys? As in, obviously where you are, and what time is it? Because obviously where I am, it's now 10:30. So I always like to find out where people are, if they're like ahead of me in time or behind me in time. I think this time I get quite a lot from America because obviously it's your like afternoon. But obviously we do get some people from Europe that are obviously an hour or two ahead, or maybe even more. And sometimes there are people from Australia or New Zealand because obviously it's their morning. But yeah, I'm always intrigued to know where you are because obviously I'm sitting here at my desk with no one around me, which always feels really weird that I'm sitting here talking away and there's literally no one here. And I know I say this quite a few times, but I'm not normally a big talker. So if I was in a room with people, I'm very good at talking one-on-one, but I don't like talking to a big room, which obviously makes it even more funnier that I'm doing this because I'm talking to quite a few people. But obviously you're not quite here. Right, anyway, I'm waffling. I've seen you are typing where you are, which is awesome. Yes, obviously if in the UK, you don't need to type the time, which obviously you're not. Because obviously if you're in the UK, then you should be the same time as me. Because obviously we don't have different time zones in the UK. So let's quickly pop up because I missed quite a few there. So we've got Lincolnshire, we've got near Manchester, Yorkshire, Iceland. Oh, cool! I've always wanted to go to Iceland because when I was younger, as in between the ages of about 21 and about 25-ish, I spent about 4 or 5 years travelling around the world. So I've been to quite a few countries, doing the old backpacking and working and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, Iceland is somewhere I would love to go that I've not been. Yeah, love to go there. Arizona, 2:30 in the afternoon. Cool, because obviously it's pitch black here. Dark Soul, 4:30 p.m. USA. Woodworkers in Germany, 11:30. Yes, you're obviously about an hour ahead. Alex has used sprue goo and some moulds to make extra rotor blades. Oh, for your death copters. Oh, okay. Yeah, see the old the moulds. As long as the moulds are relatively simple, yeah, sprue goo is cool. So it was only when I tried to do one, which is say again, this mould isn't complicated. It's just because it's a little bit deep. There's like a recess where it goes down and then like comes back up. And that's why I had problems trying to get this out. And obviously the bit in the middle, which is the cone, it kind of deflated. Pardon me. But it's probably because, again, it wasn't in there long enough. And I took this out the same time that I took this out. But obviously this is like millimetres deep. So obviously the deeper it is, the longer it needs to cure, if for want of better words, because obviously it's basically the acetone evaporating and then your plastic turning back into plastic as opposed to sprue goo. So that's why I've remade this mould in 2 parts, just so there isn't this awkward lip. And say I took this out too soon. This would have needed at least twice as long as this, because obviously it's at least twice as deep. But sometimes I get impatient. As much as I have got lots of patience, sometimes I'm like, we'll have a little look. So that's why those bits I did earlier, I won't touch them until the morning, because I know they won't be good until the morning. Have I missed anything? Stephen's not in Shetland today. Staying in Glasgow. Okay. Put down for Claymore show in Edinburgh. Okay. Claymore show, is that swords or the anti-personal mines? Either way, you're interested. The engine looks perfect for a crash. Yes. Yeah. Well, that one's definitely. It's like it's melted, isn't it? The plane's crashed, caught fire, it started melting. So this one came out better because I didn't obviously put the edge bit in, but I still took it out that little bit too soon. But it showed quite nice definition in the blades, which is why the new ones that I've done should come out looking reasonably well. See the excitement in my voice then, because it should come out looking good. But it should come out looking as good as, say, I'm really pleased with how these came out. And the fact that obviously they can be cut out. And yeah, so that's stuck on the side. Should look quite nice once painted. Again, that's why someone put in one of my comments about making the moulds and then casting in the sprue and all the rest of it. Wasn't it rather time consuming? Well, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like it would have been a lot easier just doing it in resin. And it's like, well, yeah, but then this wouldn't be classed as 100% sprue build. So yes, this hobby for me isn't about doing things the quickest way or the easiest way. Sometimes it is, but when it comes to sprue building, it certainly isn't. Sprue building, it is a long-winded, time-consuming. So the fact that obviously the sprue goo, to make sprue goo takes at least 8 hours. When you cast the sprue goo, it takes at least another 8 hours. So you're looking at 16 hours to make one of these, and that's without making the mould. So yeah, it's a lot faster, a lot quicker, a lot easier, a lot neater ways of making things. But that wouldn't be half as much fun. And I say this is a hobby, so you do things because you want to do things, not always for speed. Anyway, I'm waffling again. Have I ever used a pressure pot? No, because I haven't got one. Yeah, I mean, doing things like the moulds with a pressure pot would help out. Well, again, I think they would. It's hard to say because obviously you get little holes in bits where the acetone evaporates and leaves a little pocket. So if you're using the vacuum changer to suck the air out, there isn't air until the acetone's evaporated. So as much as I think having one of those vacuum pots would help, it might not, because you're not sucking air out. You'll be sucking acetone. And I'm not sure how well that would work. But yeah, again, I would like to know someone who's got one of those pots to have a go and, well, to put to rest the theory of would having one of those big pots work or not. Things though, even if it did work, I still wouldn't get one. Two reasons really, I guess. One, the money, and two, I've got nowhere to store it. Even though I'm in a bigger flat, to have one of those pressure pots, yeah, you kind of really want to have like a proper sort of studio or a garage or something to do that. But I haven't got either of those. Anything else that I need to answer? Made of something. What would happen to hardened sprue goo if you try to melt it with a lighter? Yeah, if you ever look one of my very old videos, it's one that Games Workshop didn't like, and I think it's one where I got an email from Games Workshop or their lawyers or whoever it was, and it was like a cease and desist because I was making moulds of their figures. Oh no, I didn't use sprue goo, I was using other stuff for that. Basically, long story short, I set fire to loads of figures just to prove and show to Games Workshop that I wasn't making figures to use. I was making them to show how to make moulds, and then I set fire to the figures. And boy, did they go up. But yeah, they weren't sprue figures, they were resin. But yeah, go and check that video out, because I must admit, I love barbecues, and whenever I do a barbecue, I do like getting the lighter fuel, giving it a couple of squirts and getting the flame, because I love the flames. I'm not a fire starter or a pyromaniac, but I do love the flames. And yeah, these little figures, they went up. They went up something nice. But yeah, no, I've not tried with sprue goo. Or did I? I have tried something with sprue goo. I can't remember what it was. I think it might be one of those little like lighter things that you use to, like the long lighters that you used to like do the old gas hobs. I think I used one of them on a sprue, but they kind of burn more than melt. Oh no, yeah, I have done something. I made thin wire. I got a sprue. Got one of the little tea lights. Again, there should be a video somewhere. I need to get all my sprue videos and put them in like a playlist. But yeah, you get one of those little tea lights, obviously a little flame. Get your sprue, put it over it. Again, it will burn, so you need to be quite quick and ventilated area. But what you do is you start pulling the sprue apart. It's kind of hit and miss to get it right. But as you pull the sprue apart, it's heated up and it pulls it into a really, really thin line. And I did it to show that you could use these as like little aerials for vehicles. You could wrap it around something and make barbed wire out of it. Yeah, so I have set fire to some sprues. Again, long story short, lots of waffling, but you kind of you know that's going to happen. When you ask a question, sometimes you'll get a quick answer, and sometimes I'm going to go round the houses. The pressure of the chamber drops, it'll pull the vapour up. Yeah, I need someone to try that one. Caddy, that was one of the first videos of mine you watched. Ah, cool. Arthur and Lionheart, I didn't know you were here. Hello, hi, how are you? I see your space has changed. Yeah, well, obviously I'm in a new place. I say I was in a 1-bedroom flat. I'm now in a 2-bedroom flat, which is above my old 1-bedroom flat. But basically, I'm in more room. So more room, more storage. My desk is still the same size. Nothing's changed here. But yeah, I've got everything set up. So rather than... Because I used to have a kitchen behind me. There's no kitchen behind me now. It's just a wall. So that's why you're shooting in the corner of the wall, because it looks nicer over there. But yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. Obviously, then again, I've not been doing these for a while, so that's probably why. But yeah, you're okay and nice. That's awesome. That's good to hear, and good to have you here. Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, obviously, back to this. Let's cut a few more panels, as obviously that's what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, so obviously, the main thing's built, as in the framework. It is as a case of cladding the whole of this. And say, in my head, I have little stages of where I want to get to. First stage, make the framework. Second stage, clad the whole thing. And then once it's all clad, that's when I'll go in and start doing more sort of detailed bits. Obviously, I've got these now that I can stick on either side. But then obviously little bits here is obviously a little bit of a wing that comes out. These guns, I'm probably going to make them out of something, or try and do what I did with the other bits. 3D print them, make a mould, and then cast out of sprue goo. But yeah, so even like the fact that this is made up of loads of panels, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my panels on first, and then get one of my sharp tools or even my blade and sort of score in to make it look like it's made up of loads more smaller panels. I'm looking forward to doing this engine bit. This does look quite fun, because it's quite a beefy looking engine. Although there's actually one at the top, there's another one at the bottom, and then there's one more on the other side. So yes, overall I like the look of this, because it's big engines, lots of guns. All it needs really is not Space Marines, but orcs. Although saying that, it could have been taken over by orcs. Yeah, mine might be orcs. Because they love red anyway, so that would work rather well. How's the D&D game going? It was going really well. But like most things, we have problems sometimes meeting up. Normally we meet up every Thursday. But obviously we're all working, we're all busy people. I've had some weddings this month. I had a wedding, what's the date? Friday. God, this is how bad my memory is, and sometimes I lose track. I had a wedding yesterday. It was only yesterday. Yeah, so I was at a wedding yesterday, so I didn't get to play the D&D game. I've got another wedding in 2 weeks' time, I think, on a Thursday. So obviously I won't be able to play in that one. So yeah, we started off really well getting into the game, and then obviously things come up with work or whatever else, so we've missed a few sessions here and there. And I think if anything, we may well have missed the same amount of sessions we've actually played. But when we are playing, game's going really well, and I'm loving it. I am loving D&D. So that's the reason why, again, I wanted to get the bigger flat. Obviously I've got 2 rooms now instead of 1. My living room's a bit bigger, because something I want to make is a table and have like the old TV screen inlaid in the table. That's why all my figures, sorry we're distracting a bit from Warhammer, that's why all my figures have the glass or plastic bottoms, because my intention, as much as I am making floor tiles and little scenes, dioramas, my intention is when I play these with D&D at home, as in my home, I'll be playing these on top of a big TV screen, because I like DMing as well as playing. So I'll DM the game, but yeah, have the figures moving around top of the TV screen, which will obviously have the floor plans or the path or the road or all the other stuff. So yes, I am looking forward to building a table. I might try and video it. It's going to be difficult because obviously it's not going to be on my desk, obviously. But yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to doing. So yeah, again, long story short, I'm loving D&D. Right, let's have a quick look, because I probably missed a few questions. Here we go. Oh, the pressure pot, yeah. Seen that. Blah, 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 blah. Space has changed. Yeah, it's changed. Avalon, while watching this, I finally figured out how to magnetize your core bloodthirster, so you're super happy now. Awesome. I do like happy people. Arthur's going to ask if this is going to be wild hard. Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, I should really put orcs in it. To be honest, I wasn't going to actually put the little figures in there. Well, for one, I haven't got Space Marines, so there would have been like empty little pods. Why not use that table also for Warhammer? Yeah, again, I love the Warhammer figures. I'm not so sure I love the Warhammer sort of type of game, because I'm very much a case of I like myself to be the one that's taken on a new persona and become a wizard or a warlock or a warrior, as opposed to me controlling an army. I prefer it to be like me the person as opposed to me the army. So yeah, so that's kind of why I never really got into Warhammer. Table made of sprues. I will need lots of sprues. Plus, again, it takes me ages to make one of these little things. What's it going to take me to make a table? I have some patience. I don't have that much patience. Get the acrylic. Oh yeah. I've got ideas of what I want to do to the table. Bonus points if you get a grid put on the acrylic. See, now I wouldn't want a grid on the acrylic because that would be on the screen. So yes, I wouldn't want a grid that was there all the time. Anyway, that's digressing quite a lot. So yeah, now kill team. Well, that's kind of why I looked at doing Blood Bowl, because obviously it's 2 sort of, well, teams. So rather than a big army, it's more like chess. It's kind of how I saw it, as a rough sort of way of seeing it. So that's why I like the idea of the Blood Bowl. But yeah, the kill team I've seen, and that looks good because again, it's a smaller amount of people. But yeah, how do I plan on making the engines? Yeah, well, that's I've got some molds that I'm going to make the sort of thruster jet thingies. Obviously these ones have come out wrong, so that's why I've made different molds to make it easier to make. So the front of the engine, imagine this looked really, really good. The front of the engine is going to go obviously there. Then over here, here's one I made earlier. This is a sprue panel wrapped around a nice, obviously solid tube. So when I pull this off, it will stay as a tube. So basically the tube is going to get put sort of over this with the old thruster at the front, and then the back is going to be made up with more sprues cut into little panels. Then I was saying just earlier about the fact that I can make small wires by getting a sprue, putting it over a little tea light or candle light, whatever you want to call it, pulling it, and it makes a very, very long, thin strand of sprue. So that I'll be using to make all these little wires. Yeah, and then anything else, any detailing, will be just little panels or bits cut into it. But again, that's why I break things down. So in my head, as much as I roughly know what I'm going to do when I get there, all I'm thinking about now is getting this panelled. Obviously, I'm not actually getting it panelled because I keep talking and waffling. But my plan is to get this panelled. And then move on to the other bits. What about a Warhammer crest or Necromunda? I can't say I know anything about a Warhammer quest. The Necromunda, again, yeah, I've looked into that because isn't that the kill team sort of thing? Again, I like the idea of that because it's smaller and smaller terrain. But yeah, again, I'm very much, if I'm not DMing, as in charge of everything, I'd rather be someone, again, my character when I play D&D, I'm a dwarf. And I'm a druid, just because I love nature. Like in real life, I love nature. Obviously, I love spells, and the fact I can change into animals is really nice. So I've kind of gone for a character that, if I could be, obviously it's not going to be, it's not real. I know it's not real, but if I could, then that's the kind of person that I would want to be. I would want to be somebody who can shapeshift into animals, cast spells, and all that fun stuff. As opposed to being a general in charge of an army that's going to go and kill another army. I would rather be a tree-hugging druid. God, we are so waffling, getting off track now. But yeah, I'm sure this is why you guys are here. I think you're here more to hear me waffle and chat than actually get things done. But say the good thing is, you know that this build, once it is done, you'll be able to watch the nice short sweet video, 14 minutes give or take, might be longer, I don't know. 20 minutes is kind of like the max I do with videos. I don't like doing anything longer than that because I wouldn't watch a video that was longer than 20 minutes. So that's why I kind of make videos that are the length that I would want to watch. So yes, you guys know that you are going to be able to watch this from start to finish. It's going to be nice, short, precise, with not a lot of waffling. You're a warlock. Yes, I like warlocks. But I think I like druids just because they are more tree huggers. Obviously, my druid, my main go-to spell is obviously the fire one, like a fireball. And yeah, I did go into a room when we did last play a few weeks ago. And I did the old Leroy Jenkins, because whenever we get into fight situations, I always roll really low on initiative. So basically I get to go last, but a lot of my spells are AoE. So we've gone into a room, I think there was 6 or 7 mobs in there, but they were like 2 teams and they were fighting each other. We kind of knew which was the good team, which was the bad team. Luckily I won initiative and I did my Leroy Jenkins. I ran in and I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's a fireball that fans outwards, and I got all of them. I got all 7 of them. So yeah, they all took damage. A few died, and then obviously we kind of worked out which side we were fighting on. But yeah, that was just funny. Anyway, yeah, waffle. Circle of Spores. Yeah, now which one am I? Man, I don't even know what I am. I think it's because I haven't played for about the last 2 weeks. Did I play last week? Oh man, I am so bad with just remembering what I've done. Lionheart. I remember we sent a member of our party in a closed room with a scroll of fireball. It went well for those of us not in a room. Everyone in the room. Well, it's funny because even one of my spells, I think it was a different fight. Again, there was about 3 of them together, but one of our team members was standing in amongst them, and I sort of said, "Oh, I really want to do this AOE fireball," and he looked at me and went, "Go on then." And so he took some damage, but it did wipe out a few of the others. But yeah, Circle of Moon. No, it wasn't Circle of Moon. Oh man, why can't I think of it? Was it Circle of Moon? Oh, I don't know. I can't. If you said it, I might think of it. But either way, a lot of my spells are AOE and fire or ice. But I love it. Right. So apologies for those that aren't in the D&D. We will get back to doing another panel. Let's get a couple more panels on because I haven't got enough, say, of these to do too much. And some of the other ones of these that I rolled out, for some reason, are still a little bit soft. Even though they've had a good few days, but I kind of like stack them on top of each other just to sort of save room. Right, so yeah, I'm not going to do any of the bottom bit yet. Again, because I was saying earlier, the little skid that comes down, I'm going to attach that firmly inside, just so when you do put it down, there's no chance of it pushing it up or falling off. It's going to be nice and strong. So we'll just do the side ones. Should we do the top one with this bit? Or should we cover that side? Let's cover the side. It makes it look like I've done more then. Heat in the area. Heat in the area. I'm not sure what we're saying. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll draw a line so we can get a nice. I say I might as well cut it rather than drawing a line. Because that is the joy with the sprue. It really is nice and simple and easy to cut. He says as he cuts a finger off. There we go. Still got 9 fingers left. What do you mean I don't have 10? Right. Take the lid off first. Are we talking D&D? We are talking D&D. Yes. I say only because obviously I play D&D. I love the Warhammer. I love Warhammer figures. The actual gameplay, obviously, I've never played, so I can't really comment much on the gameplay. But I do just love the figures. I think what I really love about the figures is the fact of how varied they can be. As in, you can have like the Space Marines, but you can also have like the Nurgles, to Orcs, obviously, and obviously everything in between. There's such a variety of types of army that you can have, and that is one thing I do like about the Warhammer. But say I'm not really one for having an army that obviously you're trying to kill the other army. I prefer like one player. What's that, Zach? Because if we're sharing, my group once caused a civil war to create their own nation state in the. Blimey. Okay, yeah, that's quite extreme, isn't it? There is a Warhammer D&D type setting. Okay. Tyranids on top. That's your go-to team, is it? You like the Tyranids? Yeah. So for me, obviously, like I've said all throughout the years I've been doing this, mine would be Orcs, just because I love the nature of Orcs, the simplicity of Orcs and how they think, and obviously all their vehicles are nice and easy for me to make. because they look like they've been made by a 5-year-old. Orcs really do just shove it together and then it works. Well, to an extent, obviously. Bosh. I keep forgetting the camera's quite low, isn't it? Right, there we go. After one is Necrons. Alex, Orcs, yeah, Orcs. Orcs for kit bashers, they are. I say, and just the fact that they would use like double-sided sticky tape, gaffer tape. I mean, Orcs would love gaffer tape. Just stick that on and yeah, it'll work. And they look cool. Nice sort of muscly looking things. Well, I was going to do this on the other side, but never mind. You love your stomper, the bucket with guns. See, that was one of the builds that I did enjoy making, the Orc Stomper out of sprues. Imagine giving an Orc Gorilla Glue. Well, I think it'd be funnier giving an Orc super glue, because he would just be stuck to the side of the spaceship, and he'd be like, "Yeah, just fly. I'm all right. I'm stuck to it. I'm not going anywhere." You can head off. Oh, thanks for being here. You have a good evening. Yeah, I'm gonna next stream probably Monday or Tuesday. Well, again, Monday or Tuesday, depending on what stuff I've got to actually build with. There may well be a week of no streams of this, but I might do other streams. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if you guys don't really care what you watch me doing, as in you're just there to hear the waffle, then I might just do some painting streams. Obviously, my plan is to, with this Thunderhawk, is to do everything I do here on a stream. But I want to get into a habit of doing 1 or 2 streams a week. So it may well be a stream of me painting, or even making a diorama. I'm not sure. But if you guys are up for that, that'd be cool. Because I would still chat, waffle, and answer any questions. What's the time actually? Oh, it's 11 o'clock. That's gone quite quick. So, yeah, 3 hours. Blimey. 3 hours, and I've stuck, what, 5 panels on. Yeah, still not getting any quicker. Getting gluier. Just got a message. Do not open. I shall save that message for later. I'm going to my biscuit. Streams are always fun, even if it's just a chat. Well, that's kind of why, I must admit, when I first started doing live streams, well, I don't know, a year and a half or more ago, my main reason for doing a live stream was to obviously build something and have people watch me building something. But then it soon became quite obvious that live streams, as much fun as they are, I don't get much built because there is a lot of chatting. But then I came to accept that the chatting is the fun bit of the live stream, as opposed to me getting lots of work done. Which is why now that I still joke and laugh about the fact of, like I say, I've been 3 hours. I've obviously explained a lot of other stuff, done a few little bits, but in reality, to this, I've stuck on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels in 3 hours. So if I was paid by the hour, it would be awesome. If I was paid by the amount of work I actually got done, it would be very bad. But yeah, that's why I see live streams as me just coming on, trying to get a little bit done, and just chat with you guys and waffling and seeing where it goes, basically. Right, let's have another bit more drink. Oh, excuse me. Right, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to see how many more panels I can actually put on. And then once I've run out of panels, I'll let end the stream. Just because obviously there won't be much more that I can do. Because really weird, as much as I do waffle on, I always find that if I'm not actually doing any work, as in I've got nothing to actually do, I find it very difficult to waffle, which is quite weird. Because I did do a stream once where I didn't really have anything planned to like make or build or whatever, and I found it so hard to chat and waffle. So I need something on my mind that I'm building, even if I don't get very far building it. Otherwise I just can't sit to chat. Right. That one might just be enough. Oh. Oh. My nose has gone itchy. Right, that's... Oh, it's just about. There's a little bit of a gap, but nothing too bad. We will go with that because, say, once all the panels are on, I would then go round, oh, I can't get the lid off. Would go around, go over it, tidy up, obviously all edges with me blade, and then any little gaps would be filled with good old sprue goo, as that is what it's wonderful for. Right. Do that. So another little question for you guys, just because again I like being nosy. So obviously you're watching me do this. What else are you doing? Because I'm kind of guessing most people are generally, well, rather painting, building, making. I don't think there's many people that just watch what I'm doing. I mean, there might be. So yeah, what are you guys doing right now? Are you painting something, building something, playing something? Or are you literally there with your feet up, just watching and listening to the waffle? So we've still got 44 people watching, so still a few of you out there. Yeah, cool. What's that? Death to the Grey is finishing up your, what's that? Eldari? Oh, pardon me. All touch on Skyrunner. Blimey. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, everyone's typing. It's whizzing off. 2 days build is at work. Oh, that's a bit of a bummer. Although, that's probably not too bad because you're at work watching me or listening to me. So, thank you so much for doing that. Taking your time out of your busy day. Or maybe you're on a break. Ivan is putting together some Elder Rangers. Alex is supposed to be painting orcs. Get painting. Morven is making true scale Death Watch using, what's that, Space Aces method. Well, it kind of lost me a lot on what you said there, but you're making something, so that's always good. Lion is building terrain. Desert terrain, cool. See, I reckon Sprues stuff would make good desert terrain. Obviously, what are you using to make your terrain with then, Lion? Was painting a set of Sisters of Battle. See, I like the look of them. Again, obviously, I've looked at quite a lot of different the Warhammer sort of factions, and the Sisters of Battle is one I like. Assembling a Gundam Master Grade kit, and now thinking about dinner. Awesome. Well, I say obviously it's pretty late now here. What did I say it was? Yeah, just after 11 at night. So yeah, so I might have 1 or 2 more biscuits but that will be it for me. And then off to bed to get plenty of sleep for a busy weekend. A busy but fun weekend ahead. Right, it's starting to look a little bit more like I've done a bit more work now. Not a lot, but a little bit. 2-day builds, perks of being a supervisor. Okay, actually just getting into Warhammer. Been doing some 3D printing. Oh, cool. So I must admit, I've seen a lot of Warhammer style STLs. So yeah, I might start printing out some of their stuff. Cause a bit of glue on me finger, and it just pulled my earbud out. Yeah, because I wouldn't mind printing out some of the say Warhammer stuff, just because their stuff looks great. But obviously some of the figures are just so expensive to buy. Models from planes to battleships to Gundams. Yeah, so the Gundam stuff, I like the look of their stuff, because obviously huge big robots. What's not to like? But yeah, I've never done anything with their stuff. Lion polystyrene mainly, yeah. And sand dunes, cool. Pizza loving gal, a orange heart, because I love orange. Orange is my favourite colour. Just makes me happy. Happy colour. And it's good to sort of see that you are lurking there, pizza loving gal. Yeah, I think you might have drifted off to sleep or something. Alex has been distracted interacting with the live stream and painting emperors, children, chaos, space marines. Again, yeah, space marines that I love, just because to me they look like obviously I love paladins, and to me a space marine is a beefy paladin, but as opposed to having a sword or a shield, they've got obviously a big blaster, although some of them have swords and blasters. So yeah, you can't go wrong there, best of both. Alex, aka Pink Demons. Is that what they are? Children, Emperor's Children, Chaos Space Marines. They're big pink demons. Cool. 2-day builds is making a giant Space Marine now. Oh, okay. How big are we talking? Giant? Is that like just one Space Marine that's like a big miniature? Obviously, bigger than a miniature. What did I buy? Again, I bought a couple of those ages ago. The Space Marine. The McFarlane toys, like the big sort of like 12, 13, 14 inch jobby ones. I bought one of them. Oh, when they first came out, I think I bought it straight away as soon as it came out. And my plan was to either make an animation with it or to kind of like kit bash it. I didn't do either. I think it's sitting around, so it's out of the box, sitting around somewhere. I think I've lost all the weapons. But the good thing is, 3D printer, I can go on there, 3D print a new weapon. So that's all good. Yeah, British Town looks like a paladin. It's pretty awesome, yeah. So that's what, yeah. Space Marines I do like, and they are quite decent looking. I don't think there's any the Warhammer 40k factions that I would go, ugh, don't like them, because they're all good in their own sort of different way, really. Still wouldn't probably play Warhammer, but again, I love the miniatures. I think the miniatures are just cool. Right, I wonder if I can get the panel to do that. I don't think I'm going to have enough, no, to do the top. Yeah, I think if I can get this bit done, I may then call it. Mainly because obviously, say I've got a few more panels behind me. They're still a bit. I think they're too soft to go through the mangler. I think the what was I calling it? It's Sprue Goo Mangler, wasn't it? Miniature Hobbyist Sprue Goo Mangler. I think if they went through that, they might stick to it. So I don't want that to happen. Plus, I have a lovely message waiting for me somewhere, and I'm eager to see what the message is all about. So, yeah, I think Black Templars. Yeah, they're the ones I've looked at, and they're definitely they're ones I've definitely looked at. Yep, someone else just said, yeah, Black Templars. Build a small army to get in the game with the Thunderhawk. Yeah, see, I think again the problem is I'm not fussed on having an army fighting another army. Um, yeah, I'm definitely more an individual person going around fighting things rather than being like a general in control of an army. I'm not, yeah, not really that way. But yeah, no, the Black Templar, well, the Templars, yeah, they are pretty cool. Right, let's cut that bit straight, and then that'll line up nicely, and I can do my good old black pen, a little bit of marking, and that will fit nicely over that bit. Rightio, let's draw a little line, draw a little line. Hopefully I've drawn a line. Alright, so what I might do is all these little bits though, say I'm not going to put them back in the goo because it'll just come out wrong. I'm going to keep all these little bits just in case anywhere on this there's little bits that are needed to sort of go over and make little details and all that stuff. So it's always worth keeping bits. Yeah, because I did used to have a box of bits. So it wasn't quite a bits box. Well, I guess it was. It was a sprue bits box. Sprue goo bits box, even. Get there in the end. So yeah, so all these little bits I'm cutting off, I will keep. I say, because it's not worth putting them. Well, I wouldn't put them back in the sprue goo, but it's not worth throwing them away either. Just in case I literally need a small little bit just to add somewhere as a detail, even though it might be like a door lock or a door handle or a window portal hole or whatever. I'm waffling. So yeah, it's worth keeping them bits. Right, this bit, hopefully, if I cut this bit up, it'll fit nicely there, which will be quite cool. Shame I didn't get one on top, but at least you can see 3 hours and it's taken... It does, it makes me chuckle every time sometimes when I think just how little I've got done. When, if I hadn't been live streaming, obviously to do what I've just done, 15 minutes maybe not even that, and yet it's taken me 3 hours. Well, I must admit that does feel nice and smooth. Yeah, so putting it through the old mangler is a good one. So yeah, apologies to anyone who doesn't like shorts as videos, but I will be making a shorts video showing the mangler, showing how well it can make sprue panels that bit better, so long as you want small sprue panels. Well, unless you get a big mangler, which presumably, well, you can get, but boy, that'd be quite tough to yank that round. Nearly said something else then. But yeah, for smaller panels, they come out really well. Although there's a hole bit there. Oh, that was handy. It's on the inside. That's cool. So most of these panels have felt good on both sides, but this must be that one that I showed you when it had some real big, real big indentations. So as much as they've almost gone, they are still there. So it's good that they're on the inside. I've missed a few comments. Sorry, apologies if you've said things and I've not replied. I was just on my own wibbly wobbly world. Yeah, waffling. Yeah, the Black Templars, I remember saying that bit because obviously I like the look of the Black Templars. Oven, sorry, I'm saying oven every now and then, oven rather than oven. Emperor's Champion is with the Black Templars. They'd be cool to have a D&D game as a knight faction if you build them without the guns. Yeah. Again, that's why I'm going to look at more the STL files for quite a lot of the sort of Warhammer. I think they're called Warhammer Proxy because they're like them, but they're not like them, if you know what I mean. And yeah, there's quite a few there that look like, say, the big, beefy, nice big shoulder pads, and just, yeah, chunky monkeys. Alberto Lyon, hi, how are you, buddy? Apologies if I'm saying hi sort of 5 minutes after you said hi. It's only because I was waffling on a minute ago and I wasn't looking at the chat. Thunderhawk is a big project. It's Yeah, yes and no. I built bigger things. There's a lot too. There's a lot of the basic shape isn't too bad. There's a lot of little smaller bits that might need more attention and more time. But yeah, I'm pleased with how it's going. I'm having fun with it, and I hope you guys are having fun watching. And I say this will be turned into a nice, normal sort of video to watch, 15 minutes or whatever, start to finish, less waffle, more action, and yeah, you'll get to watch the whole build in about 15 minutes once it's obviously built. Line, I could play once a year. That's enough to be called a play. Yeah, and building the army can be more fun than play. Well, that's kind of how that's how this channel started. Was me obviously building lots of orcs and painting lots of orcs, but then making little dioramas for the orcs and bits and pieces. So I think that's when I got to a stage where I didn't want to like go and specifically buy an army as such, or buy the components to make an army. I just liked certain bits or certain figures. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of why. I mean, it was about a year and a half. I was building, painting, making Warhammer stuff with no real intention of ever really playing Warhammer. And then obviously I got back into playing D&D after a 30-year break, and that's kind of why this channel went quite full on D&D. Mainly because I was obviously printing lots of stuff to use to play. But I think now I've got to a stage where I have got a lot of D&D stuff. I can hold back a bit because I've got tons of heroes and enemies and creatures and all the rest. And that's why I want to try and get to a balance where I'm doing D&D and Warhammer and kit bashing and scratch bashing and sprue building. Just to vary the whole thing up is kind of where I want to go. Even though I know that I do get sidetracked, and then you'll see loads of videos of the same sort of content as in sprues, and then you won't see sprues for like weeks. Anyway, I'm waffling. Open, awesome, and I totally understand. Not understand just the killing the figures and not want to play the game. Like yeah. I mean, a lot of people do obviously get the figures to paint them because obviously they enjoy the painting process. They enjoy the finished look of the thingy. But yeah, have no real interest in playing the game with them. Yeah. Manarega, hey, how are you? Joining from a rockability night, so can't hear what's going on. Good. So you're one of the few people that's actually watching the channel but not hearing me with the waffling, when most people are here for the waffle and don't really care what's going on the video wise. But I hope you're having a great evening. I don't know why I'm shouting, because that's not really going to help other than maybe annoy my neighbours, but I hope you're having a good evening. Love it. Right, so yeah, I'm going to cut this, put this on, and then I think that is where we are going to call it. Purely from the fact of I don't really have any other panels to kind of build, and I think I kind of went through everything at the beginning of the video in regards to obviously the molds that I've used, and obviously the new ones, which I'm not gonna, well, I am gonna touch just because I can't help it. So yeah, I can feel it soft at the top, so I know that if it's soft at the top and obviously the air's got to the top and the acetone's evaporating, underneath it is going to be ooey gooey spruey stuff. But come tomorrow, I will carefully pull these out, because that's the other thing with the moulds. I probably haven't mentioned, or may have done, I'm not too sure. Again, these need air for the acetone to evaporate, so these go back to being a hard plastic. So if I could leave this 2-3 days, and when I take it out, the very bottom might still be soft, because again the air's not got to it. So that's why generally I leave these 7-8 hours, because that normally gets them to a state where they're reasonably solid, so I can then gently prise it out, but still being very careful, knowing that the bottom bit of this is going to be very soft because it's so deep, as opposed to this bit, which is obviously making the fans. This bit, because it's obviously, you know, clearly see, it's not as deep as that one. So this one, again, the top is still relatively soft. But after 7-8 hours, peeling this off, this one would almost be pretty much hard all over. Whereas this one, I know the very bottom is still going to be soft. So I would pull it out, carefully put it somewhere, and then again, leave it, don't touch it. Just so it does have more time for the acetone to evaporate. Anyway, let's put them there. You slipped outside for a moment. Have a lovely stream. Yeah, cheers, Mala. Yeah, we're coming to the end of it, but yeah, no, thanks for popping on. I hope you give the thing a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Also, that goes to everyone, though. Thumbs up. Right. All right, that goes that way. Again, there's a little bit of missing from the corner, but again, like I keep saying, once this is all done, every bit of it will be tidied up, and then sprue goo where required, just to fill in any gaps. Which I say, sprue goo is awesome for filling in gaps. So even if you didn't make things with sprues, but you made sprue goo just as a gap filler, yeah, it works really well. Alright. Cool, we should do this, and I say that is going to be it, because I'll have one last little look at the panels I've got. If I can put them through the old the mangler, I will. Manaraga, get back in then, get dancing. Have a good night. Right. So that doesn't look too bad now. It's got more panels on one side. So especially when, obviously that's all cleaned up, tied up, got the lines in it, and then say, good old two-headed eagle wings. Get that popped on there, because I think that goes, oh no, I think it goes a bit further over actually. I think it goes about there. But yeah, that's going to look pretty cool once that's all painted and all the rest of it, and got the guns on and the engines that look better than these ones that look like they're burnt out. Right, so let's put that there. Gonna have one last quick look at the sprue panels. Oh yeah, so this is the one that's, so normally you get one side like this, but to have both sides is a bit but after seeing how well it smoothed out the other one, I reckon this side might come out not too bad, because it's going to really compact all of this. So this one doesn't feel too bad. Well, I think I am going to call it though, just because I have got a busy weekend and I need all my energy for the weekend. So I say there's that one. I mean, that is rotten. That's rotten on both sides. Blimey. So these ones were all at the bottom of the pile. And this one, oh, that's surprising. Yeah, see, I'm not too sure, because normally, like I've been saying about the night, you can normally get one side that is pretty smoothish, and the other side might be a bit potholey. But these ones, say, I've kind of had them sort of stacked up on top of each other, and there's about 6 of them. So these 3 were at the bottom. The other 3, obviously, I've rolled out. They weren't too bad. But yeah, these ones are all a little bit on the shabby side. But again, I'll still use these. Once they go through the mangler, if they come out and they do still have a few potholes, what I would do is I'd cut them up like I've been doing with the rest of them, put them on there, and then I'd get the sprue goo and again use it as a filler. It only needs a little bit to go in to fill these holes. Then once it's dried, little sanding. Say this, the sanding paper I've got is a very fine one, because it doesn't need to be too gritty, because obviously the idea is it's going to make it nice and smooth, so it's not going to be, what you're smoothing down isn't that rough to begin with, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm surprised that all of these are a bit rope. I mean, that one's ropey as anything. Oh, pardon me. Still be used though. Anyway, I'm going to put these kind of back and I will roll them out another night. So yeah, guys, have a great weekend. I won't be doing any streaming over the weekend at all. I've got some lovely other plans that I will be doing over the weekend. So yeah, Monday possibly. Yeah, because on Monday I could roll out those other ones and basically try and get more done. The wings I'm probably going to leave last because my plan with those, with that rolled tube, is to kind of get the rolled tube put on, and then the bits that don't have the tube on, I would then sort of fill them bits with some panels, rather than paneling the whole of that, but a lot of it going to have the tube over it. Almost seems a bit of a waste when I haven't got that much in the way of sprues. So I need to sort of be economical with my sprues. So yeah, so Monday I will do another stream and we'll try and get the main body of this fully panelled. And I'm going to start thinking about the little skis, because I was thinking about possibly making them out of sprue goo, but we'll see. Because maybe I'll make them, like get several sprues, glue them together, and make them look how they look in the picture, and then put the little pad thing underneath. Anyway, Dark Soul has returned with sandwiches for all of us, or just yourself. Bit mean if it's just yourself. Pizza loving gal is having a little think to herself, or she's stroking her beard. Who knows? Might find out one day. Anyway, yes, guys, thank you so much for all being there. I still haven't got an outro or a screen that says I'm going. So I'm going to click the stream that says stream starting soon. But yeah. Carlos, oh no, just got off work. Oh no, I'm just going. I've been here for 3 hours and I've got some bits done. Not a whole lot, but some bits. We'll try to get on time for the next one. Yeah, there's a fair chance my streams will be the 8 to 10, 11ish. I might try and do some streams early morning. I know when the kids go back to school, there's definitely more chance of me doing the earlier streams. Just because, if anything, I have more energy in the mornings. Come the evenings, I'm kind of ready just to sit back, stick on a movie on Amazon Prime or Netflix. I always do a bit of model making. Whenever I'm sitting there, I'm doing something because I like to be busy with my hands. Pizza box. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying now. Yeah, so live streams. Summer holidays, probably more chance late evenings. This is UK time. When the kids go back to school in September, I still want to obviously keep doing live streams. They'll probably more often then be early morning. But again, they may be mixed up. I don't know. I'm waffling. I'm going. Again, like I said, I get to 3 hours, my brain just turns to mush. So I'm definitely going. Again, honestly, thanks guys for being there. Have an awesome weekend. If you haven't liked this video, give it a like. Please, by all means, go and watch one of my other videos, because that obviously helps me out so much. Dark Soul doesn't have enough bread for everyone. Oh well. Alex Wright emailing me about the sprues tomorrow. Awesome. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Because I haven't got enough sprues. I don't think I've got enough sprues to finish this job. But hey ho. We shall see. Anyway, I'm going to push a button or two, try and make it look sort of semi-professional. So ignore the fact that it says live stream starting soon, because obviously it's not. I need to change it to a live stream just ended. Thumbs up, like, comment, eat cookies, all that good stuff, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Okay, you all take care. Bye for now.